Bro, think about like the legends that never made it.
There's a lot of them.
Do you have that in your town too? Because I think back to like Hawaii, bro, on the Big Island, like the most talented guys, the scariest guys, never even took a shot.
Yep. Well, so I got a good buddy. His name's Harrison. The kid started training whenever he was like 14, 15 years old. And the first day he walked in the gym, like he was just a natural, bro. Like he could already like kick and punch and shit, like from like YouTube videos. And then, you know, fast forward fucking 4 years later of training and like him coming from nothing. He was homeschooled. He was one of 12 kids. So he was like raised kind of like rougher and like, you know, so
one of 12?
One of 12.
And this is in St. Louis?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
And so he's fucking just like savage. And then he just started training with me and I started bringing him in for camps and shit like that and using him as a sparring partner and like just helping me hold mitts and shit like that. And dude, this kid is literally still probably one of the best strikers on the planet. But he lost his first amateur fight. They put him in whenever he was 18 years old with a dude who was like 34. He was a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. And this kid was a white belt, just had pretty good striking. And the dude took him down a couple times and like won a close split decision. And then his next fight, he came out, looked like he looks in the gym. Fucking amazing. Destroys this dude. And then third fight, we go down to Arkansas. And he's about to fight this kid. He should have been fighting 25. And he was taking a fight at 35 because he's fucking talking shit like, oh, dude, it's amateur. Like, I'm going to fucking beat anyone's ass. I'm like, okay. And then the dude he fought was coming down from 45, missed weight by 5 pounds, still took it. So he's fighting, you know, like above the weight he's walking around at. And so he ends up fighting the kid. He was doing pretty good in the first round. And he started getting like clipped and wobbled. And he got TKO'd like really bad. And we went back and watched it. And he was like knocked out cold at the like right before the ref stopped it. And that was it. Like he stopped training, stopped fighting. Like started started working at a restaurant. Started managing a restaurant. Now we like it's Cooper's Hawk. I don't know if you've ever heard of that place, but it's just like a chain all over the place. It's like a winery chain.
Some Midwest stuff. Shout out to the Midwest.
Yeah, dude. Cooper's Hawk. And so he fucking just started like getting taken places wherever they're going to open up a new restaurant. He like helps them like get their managers
train them everything.
Yeah, you know.
Wow.
So he's like high up, but like makes like, you know, like
60 grand a year.
I was going to say, I think like a little under 60, something like that. But yeah, around that. And it's just like, dude, you don't even understand like your fucking potential, bro. That's exactly what I tell him all the time. And now he's 24, and I'm like, bro, you're still young.
Still have a shot,
bro. You could just fucking move here, stay on my couch, train for a year, take a couple amateur fights, and you could be in the dance before you know it. And it's just like, you can't make people want shit though. You know, you can't like.
And it's hard to see though, especially with that route, right?
Dude,
with
it's
MMA,
so hard to see.
That's a crazy route because you've got to win those amateur fights, right? You've probably got to put 4 or so together, right, in a row, and then you get to go pro, and then you're going to fight regional. And then how long are you going to fight regional? And you've got to pretty much go perfect on the regional route, right? On the regional scene.
It's going to take you 5 years.
And at that point, you're 30 years old.
That's me.
And that's when it's like, it's time to go.
It's do or die.
And speaking of that,
hey,
Joshua, Augustine, Augie, what's up, brother? Appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. So let's get straight into that. You've got a huge fight coming up on UFC Fight Pass, right?
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about it.
I'm fighting Alex Morgan, main event, UFC Fight Pass, June 21st in Montreal, Canada. He's a TriStar product, so it's going to be right in his backyard. And yeah, bro, I just think it's a fucking awesome opportunity. It's definitely a banger-ass fight. And yeah, you know, it's for both of us. I think it's like the way to get in because it's a tough fight for him for sure. The UFC knows who I am. The UFC knows who he is. He was on Contender Series. So it's just it's a good fight for both of us.
Does this one get you going a little bit? Like, have you watched film on him? You watched his Contenders fight?
Oh yeah, dude. I've watched hours of this, dude. Like I've watched so much film, and it's cool because there's so much. He's fought twice as much as me. He has 20 pro fights. He's 14-6, so he has so much film out there for me to watch. But yeah, bro, it gets me so fired up because it's a challenge. Like the challenge is what gets me fired up. Not so much like the opportunity or what could come afterwards. I mean, obviously we all want to have more money and like notoriety and like all the shit that comes with it. But like for me, I'm just like, none of that even exists. Like, yes, there is potential there. It could exist. But for me, I'm just looking forward to that fight because I want to see just like, you know, there's going to be ups and downs within it. Like I'm just excited to have the challenge in front of my face and just deal with the adversity as it goes and fucking just fight this motherfucker.
So what have you seen of him on film? Like, what do you see out there that excites you about him?
He's a really good Muay Thai guy. He's had fucking stadium fights in Muay Thai, so he's obviously, super skilled. He's a protege of fucking Firas Zahabi, so he's a stud.
Okay.
He's super skilled. He's technical. He's very, very technical, but he's not like a raw athlete like me. So I think that's where the Auggie Doggy will be able to fucking come in and fucking dog some shit out.
This is gonna be an ugly fight for him.
It could be really, really pretty for me. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be ugly or pretty, to be honest with you. That's where like it could go either way. Like it could be a awesome, easy to watch like stand up exchange, or it could be fucking just like a street fight that just looks like two guys that know how to fight.
Really?
That's what I think.
Especially with how athletic you are and how big you are, you're not thinking about just taking him down and mauling him.
Oh, well, of course I am, but it's not going to be that easy. And that's the thing is I know I have to have a very calculated and smart approach to how I'm going to get to certain positions and how, whenever I'm going to be able to get my shots off and stuff. So we're working a lot of specific details as far as like, how to get to these different spots, how to keep myself safe, and then start working into advantageous positions. But yeah, I'm going to be taller, faster, and stronger than him for sure. So, I'm going to try and take advantage of that.
And this is for a belt, right?
It's actually not for a belt.
Really? No way.
Yeah, so he had the belt in Samurai, and I guess he vacated it whenever he tried to fight on Contender Series, and then he's been back and fought since. So he's the former champion. I don't think there's a champion of Samurai right now at 145.
Are you guys going to be main eventing the
main event.
the card though?
Yep.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when is this actually going to take place?
This is June 21st.
June 21st.
Yeah. So we're just under a month out. Month yesterday.
Ooh, how you feeling?
I feel fucking amazing, bro. This is the best fight camp I've ever had. This is the best shape I've ever felt like I've been in physically. And on top of all that, now I'm just able to just focus on the fight and just focus on the tactics and the techniques that I'm going to use in the fight. And obviously having the team around me at Extreme, it's like
incredible. Top tier, the best in the world.
The best in the world. And just seeing the best looks that I can see for him specifically, and guys that I think are just going to be a lot better than him. I've been working with Anthony Njokwani, Julian Arosa, Mads, obviously. So, I got a pretty tough crew around me. Abijah, Abijah.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got some studs. Arthur Duflo, all guys that are like right around his size, very similar to his style, and like Julian and Anthony, I think they're fucking a lot better than him, to be honest. But and Abijah too.
Abijah's striking is so smooth.
Bro, Abijah's so smooth.
Yeah.
And he's the exact same height and the exact same build as the guy.
That's what I was thinking.
It's a great look.
And he's able to emulate that, I imagine, as well.
I honestly like him doing his style more because I think that he's more evasive. He's harder to hit. He's slick with the counters. I think that he's just honestly a better striker than the guy overall. Like, I think if they had a fight and just a striking fight, I think Abijah would win that. So I just prefer to go with him how he goes. But I do have people that like Biagio and Arthur Duflo, like emulate him. Like, I think it's to a T, except for maybe they're a little bit quicker than what he's going to be, especially Biagio is a fucking incredible athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, right? He was one of the best running backs in the country.
In the
coming out of high
nation,
school,
right? Yeah.
And then he went to Cal and UNLV. It's like, you don't find that caliber athlete anywhere. So for anyone to try to emulate his speed, like, good luck. It's going to be really hard to find that. So to have him kind of imitate that style but add like his flair to it, it's like, this dude's not going to be able to do that. So I highly doubt it. If he can, hats off, but I highly, highly doubt it. So I feel like uber prepared for this fight. So it's just all building for the next couple of weeks and continuing that hard work, that hard push for keeping the shape and building the shape even a little bit more. But I'm more focused on the techniques and the tactics at this point because my body's already physically prepared.
So how did this fight all get put together? Because you were originally thinking you were going to have a main event for a title with Shamrock FC, right? And that was going to be maybe in April or something like that.
Yeah.
So how did this one get put together?
So they were just trying to find me opponents on May 10th. They couldn't, no one wanted to answer the call. No one wanted to take the fight for whatever reason. So, obviously, there's a lot of politics in the game. So, I couldn't get the fight, so I just had to move on to something else. So my manager over at Iridium, Lance, introduced the fight to me. He gave me that fight and 2 other options as well. And this guy was definitely the toughest fight by far. And but he also he had the most notoriety. He has the best record. He trains with the best gym, and it's the biggest opportunity, the main event on Fight Pass. So to me, it was like the risk reward was just, that was best case scenario just to fight him, because like you could fight a 4-0 guy that you think you're just way better than, but maybe he's the next fucking John Jones or whoever, you know, like, and then you got to go deal with that at 4-0. And if you lose to a guy like that, it's like, well, you just lost. Like now you were the fucking stepping stone for that kid.
And where do you go next?
And now where do I go?
Yeah.
And what does that do to my mindset? Versus just, I'm going to take the fucking toughest challenge I can get. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fucking ice this kid. Because also whenever I went out there and started watching different film on different guys, I obviously saw holes in some of the lower level guys. But with him, there's just a few specific things that I saw that it was just like, I can get this motherfucker. I can beat his ass.
So how do you see this fight going on June 21st?
Either it's going to be a stone cold knockout, slept beautiful, just like, oh, sexy. Or he's going to get bludgeoned, like just fucking brutalized with just elbows and knees. And I'm going to fucking rub my head in his face and fucking bleed all over him. And it's just going to be nasty fucking street fight. And I got no problem standing in the pocket and fucking banging with him, and just drawing the fight out of him and not playing the tit for tat game, or, you know, taking him down and just beating him up and just, like I said, just making it a fucking actual fight. Like not playing there's this counter to this movement. There's now we're going to go my combination, your combination, add some counters to it. Like I'm not going to sit there and play. Like I'm going out there to decimate this guy. I'm going out there to fucking hurt him bad. So whenever he sees my name, he knows that he doesn't want to cross that path again. I want to show myself and the UFC that I'm not only ready for that next level, but I'm ready to excel at that next level. And the biggest thing, like I said, for myself, though, is I want to go into the UFC knowing I can beat those type of caliber of guys. And I know in the gym I'm able to do well and, you know, train with a lot of those guys, but competition and training are two completely different things. So this is it's a good redemption for me. I feel like I should have won, not my last fight, but the fight before, the one that I lost. I was whooping the shit out of the guy. He was a veteran, kind of similar record to this dude. And, you know, I gassed out and, you know, he kind of got the better of me later in the fight. But there was a lot of factors going into that fight that was happening in my personal life. So now this is the first fight that I've had that's a big opportunity for me, where I have ample time to train, the best camp in the world, the first time I've ever had that, the best coaches in the world, and my mind's in a great place. I'm fully focused on the fight, not what comes with the fight. I'm ready to fucking fight this dude, and I am just looking forward to that.
And not just all of that, you also add in the personal life being in order.
Yeah.
Like in the best point of your life, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I got my son here. I'm laser focused on just training. I'm not working security anymore at the bar or anything like that. It's just the gym, taking care of my son, making sure he's got food, and fucking trying to whoop the shit out of whoever I can.
All gas, no brakes. All the stars are aligning right now for you.
That's how it feels. And there's been other times where I've had that happen, where it's felt like that, and it went the wrong way. So I'm trying to have the mindset of like the duality of the fight. Like it can go either way, and I'm at peace with it going either way. It's not like, oh, I got to win this fight and I'm going to win this fight. Like, no, it's a huge opportunity in my career to win this fight 100%. And I'm preparing fully for that. But if he knocks me the fuck out, I took a fight against a fucking savage, like a Muay Thai fucking stadium guy. Like it's, you know, that's a real possibility of this game. And like, being at the point in my career where you can like not just like deny that and put that away and just say, oh, I'm going to go win this. This is how I'm going to do it. Like, no, it can go either way. And being okay with it, like I think that's a game changer as well.
See, that's an interesting mindset a lot of people don't understand about the game, right? Mm-hmm. And you're doing that with that all in mind, understanding all that danger that you're walking towards. You're still going to walk this guy down and make an incredible fight out of it.
Yeah. And if it's not an incredible fight, if I get knocked out or it's boring, so be it. I stepped in there and I fucking fought. I can remember one of my first or second fights, man, I was such a nervous wreck in the back, man. I was freaking out, and I was just like, oh, man, because I just had so much. It wasn't like I was scared of the fight. It was just more like pressure, self-pressure I'm putting on myself because I just had such high expectations. And one of my old coaches, good friend of mine still, Matt Ricehouse, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He fought in Strikeforce back in the day. He fought Bobby Green, like Ryan Couture actually as well. So,
no way.
Yeah. And super experienced guy, but I remember he pulled me off to the side and he's like, hey man, you know, at these shows here, half the guys win and half the guys lose. So like you don't get to just pick to win that you win because you want to. Everyone here wants to be on the winning side of this card. There's a winning side and there's a losing side, and you just have to roll with it either way. You just get back in the gym and you train. And I remember him telling me that, and at like 19, I'm like, dude, why the fuck are you telling me this? Like, I don't want to hear that I could lose. Like, what do you mean I could lose? I thought all your techniques were fucking flawless. Like, what are you talking about? But now, like being around the same age that he was at that time, I see what he's saying. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, yeah, it's cool to fucking be in front of the camera and like, you know, like build up towards the fight and potentially be in the UFC. But like at the end of the day, as long as my son's healthy and I'm healthy and you know, the important things are in order, then I'm good. Like, it's all good. But, you know, the fight, it's a cool opportunity. You know, it's the dream of mine to be in the UFC and become UFC champion. So this is, like you said, it feels like the stars are aligning and it feels like that next step towards getting me there. Yeah.
It's interesting, though, right? How things change. And when you get that experience, like, the stress goes down, right? Like, you worry less.
Yes. Yeah, and
the maturity.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that I'm thinking about with him as well is he has twice as many wins as me and twice as many losses. He has twice as many fights. So I know that experience is going to play a factor. So, you know, I'm going to have to go out there and use the youth, use my energy, use my strength and my speed and, you know, try not to let him really outthink me. And, you know, so that's definitely something that I'm thinking about going into this fight is like how important experience is going into fights and your mindset going in. So I can only imagine where I'll be in another 10 fights. So that's, you know, and that's probably mentally a little closer to where he's at today. So, you know, that's definitely an interesting challenge within the fight as well.
But you feel a lot more equipped to deal with that pressure, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to think
about it. It feels like so much less now.
Yeah. And I mean, also, like I said, training and fighting, way different things, but helping Aljo with his last camp, training with Julian Rose every day. Julian's coming up on his 15th UFC fight. Aljo's at this next fight will be his 19th UFC fight. So like, yeah, 20 fights is a lot, but in the grand scheme, like there are guys with more experience that are probably better skilled, more overall skilled in MMA, not just Muay Thai. And these are guys that I'm working with every day. So, you know, I try not to let that like factor in like, ooh, he's going to be like a wizard and like have like some like magic spell to like, you know, do something crazy out there. It's like, you know, I'm training with the best guys. So.
Yeah, especially in that gym, things get interesting in there, right?
Oh yeah, bro, for sure. And I've just been trying to push it, man. I've just been trying to push it with all the best guys, like I said, Anthony and Jaquani, fucking Aljamain Sterling, Julian Rosso. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. So like, if I can't put together the best fight camp and I can't fucking do it with all these guys, well then like, how are you gonna do it? So, you know, I feel ready, man. I just feel ready. And that's why I say I'm just excited to just fight. Like, I'm just excited to get in there and just watch it kind of unfold. Like, cause I know, like, I'm expecting it to be a fight. And I'm expecting it to be very uncomfortable and like nasty and it's going to hurt and I'm going to be tired and fucking want to quit and he's going to want to quit and be tired. We're both going to be bloody and beat up. But like, I'm excited to like see that unfold and see how I react to that situation and then go back and like watch that fight and be like, holy shit, dude, that's you. Like, that's crazy. Cause I just enjoy, like, I'm a fan, you know, that's how this all started. So to like be able to start creating performances like that is like, it's just cool.
That's awesome. So is this going to be your first time fighting internationally?
Yes. First international fight. Yeah.
You pumped for that? Yeah,
I think it's really cool. Like, that's also another dope part of the experience, right? Is like going to Montreal. It's not like any other part of Canada where it's kind of like sort of Americanized. Like Montreal's, you know, it's all French Canadian. Yeah, it's like all the architecture is very like European from what I understand. Everyone speaks French over there. Like, you know, it's in his hometown. Like, it'll be cool to go travel and see the world and, you know, just get the experience. Like, Firas Zahabi's going to corner against me, dude.
Oh, wow. That's, you know what
so
I mean? Sick.
Yeah, like, that's awesome.
That's some legendary stuff, right? It's why you got into the sport.
You can't take that away from me. Like, yeah you might be able to
win or loss.
You might be able to beat me. You might be able to fucking knock me out. You can say whatever you want. But, like, these are the things, like, that are special to me that I'm okay with. Like, that I'll be able to tell my son and be proud of.
Yeah, you went out and you actually did that. You did some legendary stuff at the end of the day.
One of the best coaches of all time was fucking trying to tell his guy what to do against me. No matter what way the fight goes, like, that's fucking awesome, dude. That's George St. Pierre's coach.
It's insane, dude.
Insane.
He's on the Ariel Helwani show all the time.
All the time. Yeah, it gives me fucking goosebumps, dude.
It's incredible. It's going to be a legendary night.
Yeah, I can't wait, bro.
So without overlooking the fight, obviously, where do you think things head next after this win?
It's the UFC. It has to be the UFC. You know, I got skipped over on The Ultimate Fighter, which is whatever, and you know, I've been kind of waiting for that next opportunity to prove that I'm ready for that level to them. And like we talked about with the May fight, there was a lot of different people that could have fit that role that showed, you know, enough challenge to where they could have been like, okay, he's ready. But this one is like, it's not guys that are barely at that getting in level either. Like Alex could have been in the UFC. He's fought Charles Jourdain. He's fought TJ Laramie, both guys that have had a lot of UFC experience. He has a couple wins over TJ. And there's a few other guys that are in the UFC that he's fought as well. So with that being said, it's like, you know, it's just gonna be fucking awesome, bro. I can't wait.
So you're not looking at going to a Contender Series fight or to the Ultimate Fighter?
I mean, the Ultimate Fighter's done. They're done filming. They did 55 last season, and they're obviously doing 45 this season. So it'd be really tough for me to get on the show at any other weight. So, I mean, if Contender Series called and that's what was next and I didn't get the UFC call, yeah, then I'll take it, obviously. You know, I'm going to get in. But in my mind, I'm going to fucking knock this dude out, and then I'm going to fight on UFC 303 the next weekend.
Really?
In my mind.
Because that's what happens, right? They always need some short notice fight. And
Yeah,
if you're coming off of something incredible, especially if you walk out there and knock him out.
Yeah, the number one guy in Canada, the number one guy outside of the UFC, if I go out there and sleep him early or just dominate him, honestly, who else should get that call before me? I don't think there's a single person. Like, I just beat the number one guy outside the UFC, and now it's my turn. You know, that's just how it goes. So, yeah, I think the UFC is next. I mean, and they're giving out those $300,000 bonuses on 303. So I'm like,
they are again?
That's just like been what they're saying on the internet, like on Instagram and shit. I don't think Dana's confirmed that, but I feel like if everyone just pushes it, it'll happen.
I don't think so. No way.
No?
No, come on now.
Come on, man. I'm trying to manifest $300,000 in my bank account.
I gotta say it with that.
Dana, we're doing $300,000 bonuses. UFC 303. Conor and Michael Chandler in the motherfucking main event. Come on, bro.
Now,
it's the money night.
That's the money. It's the biggest live gate ever.
And you already know Conor's about to blow those fucking pay-per-views through the roof. So it's not like they're gonna have the fucking 900,000 not to give out. 300 is probably going to go to Michael or Conor anyways. So 600, you're going to spread it out somewhere. Let your boy get in on that.
Dude, that's crazy because there's a couple of huge cards coming up, right? But if we talk about that card real quick, the 303 card, how do you think that goes? The return of Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler.
Fuck, man, it's hard to say. I love Conor, bro. I was a huge Conor fan because I was an amateur and he was fucking coming up changing the whole entire landscape of the game, how people dressed, how people talked, how people fought. Everything has changed since him. So,
and in the same weight class as you?
In the same weight class, bro. So it was so inspiring for me. And like the way he moves and everything. Like it was just, I mean, I love that guy. And, but we've all seen what Conor's been like lately, right? Like lots of drugs, lots of alcohol, lots of just being in the limelight. If he can...
You mean fun?
Yeah,
he's been pretty
bro,
fun.
I'm not hating,
He's been
dog.
pretty awesome.
I'm trying to get on the same shit. I just need the same like bank account. You know, I got no problem with the man. I'm just saying.
Once Knox is on the job.
I'm just saying, if he fought Islam, it'd be probably pretty rough because he's fucking on a yacht probably 2-3 days a week. Like,
yeah, but he's got a gym on the yacht.
It's hard to stay focused. I would say my wrestling practice today was probably harder than his yacht workout if I had to bet on it. But you know, if he can pull out a fraction of the old Conor, if he can show just even a little bit of himself, I think he snipes Chandler, no problem. I think he fucking knocks him out cold, and then he fucking looks amazing. It's a great return. Then he fights Islam next. But I don't know, man. It's hard whenever you're fucking got that much money and it seems like he has so much going on that to like really jump back in the gym and just be solely focused on what you're doing. Because like I can tell you from my experience, and like I am locked the fuck in. Like it doesn't matter what happens in there. Like I am going to be there for it. You know, every single day I'm putting everything into this. And there's obviously, I don't know if Michael Chandler's doing that. It seems like he is. He seems like that type of guy that's always in the gym. But, you know, there's a lot of other guys that are like that, where Conor's, like, he's already hit the pinnacle. Now he's kind of on his downslide, is what it seems like. So my heart says Conor. My mind says Chandler. Unfortunately. But I'm saying Chandler's from St. Louis. I'm from St. Louis. So, like, I almost kind of got to ride with Chandler. But, like, Conor's my guy, you know, so.
So, I mean, are you going with Chandler?
I'm going with Conor.
You're going with Conor.
I'm going with Conor.
So you think Conor snipes him?
I think Conor snipes him.
Because Chandler stands there and bangs.
Bro, he stands there and bangs, and Conor's got a great left hand. He deals with right-handers extremely well. He lines up that shot really well. He's got the fucking death punch. They're going to do it at 170. Chandler's never fought at 170. This is Conor's, like, what, fourth fight at 170 or third fight, whatever. So, you know, I think that Conor gets it done as long as he can just stop doing coke and drinking for the next, like, month.
So how do you think that affects someone like Michael Chandler's cardio? Because he's obviously a bigger guy, right? Is a 55 cut hard for him, or is, like, carrying that extra weight going to be harder for him, or not having to make the cut going to be easier for him? Like, what do you think?
I don't know. I think, like, for me, when times in the past, like whenever I fought at 170 and I had more muscle on me, it was harder to move, and it was like a lot harder to carry that weight, cardio wise. But if he's not really adding a lot of muscle, like I was adding a lot of muscle at that time, if he's not adding muscle and he's staying, like, where he's at physically and just not cutting weight, then I think that could be a huge advantage to his cardio and his chin as well. Like, you've seen Chandler get dropped in quite a few fights. Obviously, he always battles back, like he's a fucking warrior, but he's gotten clipped by almost every single person he's fought with. So if you get clipped by Conor, you're going to get put away. But at 170, his chin might not be as I don't want to say, like, shaky or, like, chinny, because, like, I don't want to talk shit on him. Like, you know, it's the fucking UFC at the highest level. Like, you don't have to be chinny to get dropped. Like, you know, it is what it is. But maybe that weight cut could help out with the cardio and that. But it's really hard to say. You never know. And obviously Conor's added a lot of muscle. How is he going to carry that weight? What's his weight cut looking like at 170? So it's just a fucking interesting fight.
I mean, it's been 2 years since Conor's fought over that now, right? Something like that.
And his last one was the leg break, and no one's ever come back from the leg break like that. Weidman, still winless since then. Anderson Silva, he got a couple wins, but he was never the same. Is there anyone else that happened to?
Not that's ever really come back in the UFC.
Yeah, no one that's ever. I don't think anyone's ever come back from that injury. So,
that's a good point. Like, the GOATs, they barely make it back to the UFC.
And look at how Anderson's career went after that injury.
Right.
Like, he was also 40, 41, 42 years old and just fighting fought Israel Adesanya and Uriah Hall in his last fight. Like, they weren't throwing him a bone or nothing. He wasn't, like, taking the easiest fights he could get or, like, the best matchup. Like, he was just taking fights. But he wasn't winning much, you know. And at that elite level, it's only an inch, and, like, if your mind's even slightly thinking about your shin or this or that, like, they're gonna find it. Like, they're gonna fucking find that mental hole, and they're gonna fucking exploit you. So it's tough. It's tough to say. I would love to see him come back, win, fucking fight Islam, knock him out, and be fucking champ. Like, let's get it. But, you know, it's just the game don't really work that way. Like, the game is very fucking unforgiving. But I'm still going Conor.
I think Conor's got a really good I think he's going to look really good. If he doesn't end it early, oof, this is going to get ugly.
Yes, I agree with that. Now, if his chances in those first couple minutes, right, if he can snipe them early, it's going to be crystal clear, beautiful. Oh, Conor's
It's
back.
what we all want, right?
It's what we all want, but
it's what MMA needs.
Fuck, dude.
Another renaissance. Do you know how incredible that would be?
Yeah, but it's just tough, bro. It's just tough to pull off, man. It's just... Anytime I feel like in fighting, when you have shit like this, where it's like, oh, this will be great for the sport, like, those guys usually just get landslided down. And then there's just, like, a new person, new star gets fucking thrown into the limelight.
Which reminds me, there's another incredible fight coming up, right? Islam Makhachev, Dustin Porier. That's the next mega fight.
Yeah.
How do you think that goes?
I would love to say Dustin Porier. That's like... swamp Midwestern white dude as well, like, you know, kind of similar roots. I've always been a fan of Dustin, bro. Even whenever he got knocked out by Conor, came up to 55, beat Bobby Green, beat fucking Yancy Medeiros, beat, like, all these fucking dogs, worked his way up to the top, through the best people. Like, you gotta love that story. But to fight fucking Makhachev, whenever you've seen, you know, he struggled with Khabib in the grappling. He kind of almost caught him. It's like, I don't see the fight being much different than what happened with him and Khabib. So I got Islam on that one, unfortunately. But I would love to see Dustin win it. That'd be awesome. If Dustin won and Conor won, you already know what's about to happen.
Oh, my God.
You already know, bro.
That would be insane. But there's the chance that this happens because what if Islam does his thing where he wants to stand and trade with Dustin?
Oh, bro, he'll get fucked up.
And Dustin just has, you know, Dustin's boxing. Come on now.
Oh,
Dustin pulls up the shorts.
Islam's
Let's go.
not stupid. Islam's not stupid.
But he did it with Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, but Volk and Dustin are two different animals.
That's what I'm saying. But if Islam gets, you know, a little cocky and decides to stand there and bang with the diamond,
he could get caught, and
he could get caught and he can get put away.
Well,
Dustin has said he's going to knock him out, right?
Really? I didn't know that. I haven't heard that.
I believe that's what Dustin said.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be his goal to do it. But like, his guillotine was close on Khabib. Like, so there absolutely is that chance, even in the grappling department. But it's just tough to fucking catch somebody with, you know, that has the game plan of they're just going to go out there and wrestle you and take you down and beat you up. It's tough to just catch a guy like that. Like, you almost have to beat them at their game, shut them down, and then you can start to exploit them. Which we haven't seen from Islam yet, other than the one fight where he got knocked out.
Let me see. He said, Dustin Porier says, I will knock Islam unconscious.
Love that.
That's pretty nuts.
I love that.
Up on the feet a little bit. I'll shoot for a takedown. Dustin will jump for the guillotine. I'll defend the guillotine. I'll punch him a couple times from the top, and then he'll give up his back, and
Let's see if I
I'll finish him. So
I can't get it up there right now. One sec. Let me just hit play on
can I
there.
get your response to that prediction?
I'm going to knock him unconscious, and the ref's going to be pulling me off of him.
He said,
That was it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's hilarious, dude.
Savage.
That's hilarious. I'm going to knock him unconscious. Yeah, I mean, that's the attitude to have.
And if Dustin does do that and knocks out Islam, and a month later or so, whatever it is, right? Conor goes out there, knocks out Michael Chandler.
The writing's on the wall. Or even if Chandler wins and Dustin wins, that's a rematch right there. That was a banger ass fight. You know,
But that storyline that you put together right there,
Conor, come on,
Conor and Dustin Poirier.
Give me that quad, baby.
Oh my God.
That's the fight,
We're talking the MMA Renaissance.
bro. And that's
We're talking
like,
2 million plus pay-per-view buys.
that's main event at the Sphere right there. You're welcome.
Oh my God.
You're welcome, Sean and Mick. Feel free to send me a contract.
Oh, where's his percentage?
Where's
Get
my
him his
money?
cut.
At least let's get me in the PI and get me some meals and shit.
I can't wait for that. Can you wait for that day?
What, the PI?
The PI and the meals,
Well,
being on the UFC roster.
Like seeing behind the scenes makes it like less like flashy and cool and more just like, wow, that would be so fucking convenient to have access to the fucking physical therapist whenever I want. Like, whenever I'm there, yeah, it's cool, I get to do it. But like, just be able to go there every day, fucking talk to a sports psychologist, talk to, you know, do the physical therapy, get the meals. Like, it's just, man, it just takes so much pressure off.
well, the
you.
meals would be just such a huge thing alone, right?
From even cost, like, and time and convenience, like, you're training all day, bro. It's fucking massive. That's a massive thing. Like, and no one can afford just have a nutritionist in their house unless you're top 10, top 5, even. Like, top 10 guys might not even be able to afford most of that. But yeah, so that takes a huge pressure off. So yeah, seeing behind it, it's like, yeah, that would be fucking. That will be very, very nice. That will be a very nice luxury.
Is it something you think about whenever you're in there? Because you're in the PI a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is. I definitely try to do a lot of visualization whenever I'm in there, and I just. But for me, it's more of like a time where I'm like feeling really grateful because I know, like I was talking to you about before the show about my buddy who just like didn't want to fucking take the chance of like really like going after this thing, and I'm not only in the one, like MMA fighters are the 1% of the world. And then within that, to be at the PI, you're in the 1% of the fucking 1%. So I try to just keep that mindset whenever I'm in there. Like, wow, dude, you're right where you need to be. Like, and it's almost like a trip when you're there because everything's so nice. And like, I came from all these grungy, fucking dingy ass gyms. And then now you're there and it's like everything's so perfect. And like the you know, you got the thermometer in the cold pool, and then you got your fucking meals all perfectly made. Everything's weighed out, and it's like almost like too good to be true. But it's you know, it's just it like feels too nice. Like it shouldn't be that way. But yeah, man, it will be an amazing luxury to have all that stuff.
So what does everything out of camp look like for you right now in life? Because you're not working at the security right now, right? So it's just that, your son. What about like entertainment at home? What are you spending your time doing?
Dude, I'm not doing it. I've been watching, I started rewatching Breaking Bad, but like that's like bedtime TV, like just winding down at night, like at the very end of the night. But dude, I've just been locked in camp, bro. I haven't been doing shit. But like outside of camp, I'll probably go get a drink, hang out a little bit on the weekend. But for the most part, like before this camp, I thought there was going to be the May 10th fight. I thought there was going to be the Ultimate Fighter before that. So I've just been in fucking training camp mode pretty much since January, pretty much. You know, every time I'd find out that, you know, there was like a shortcoming on one of those things, I'd take a week, go get a cheeseburger, let my body heal up a little bit, you know, do whatever. But, man, I've just been locked in. There hasn't even been any fun. You know how it is having kids. You're just fucking dad mode whenever you're at home. So that's been my piece more than anything. You know, you might have a bad day at the gym or have like a conflict with somebody or something, or have like the pressure of, oh shit, rent's due and the sponsor's not hitting me back up. Fuck, like how am I going to fucking do this? But then you go home and he's just like, his new thing is scaring me. So like, you know, he's just under the covers and he's like, like the second I walk in, I'm just like, oh, like it's good. Everything's fine. You know, like none of this means shit. So it's just been dad mode, you know, making potatoes and fucking chicken for the kid and watching too much Coco Melon for my own sanity.
Is that what he's into right now, Coco Melon? I hated that era so much.
Dude, Coco Melon fucking sucks.
So
bro.
whack.
Dude, the songs, Daddy Finger, dude, they're so fucking creepy. And but no, his shit is mostly Transformers, Spider-Man, and he likes watching shit like destroy. Like he'll watch YouTube videos of like kids playing car games and like crashing them and shit like that. And it's actually fairly entertaining. So, and he loves watching fights. So like I can usually just get down and jam on whatever he's jamming on. And you know, there's times where it's like, dude, go watch whatever. I'm gonna watch Breaking Bad in my room. But he's pretty easy to deal with.
So like, how do you deal with that? Because I always like, I feel like I parental the hell out of my son on YouTube or anything online. Like anything that's like too entertaining, I feel like it's too good for him. I got to take that away.
Yeah. So we put monitors on the YouTube Kids, so he can only watch like certain stuff, like obviously like no inappropriate shit. And he's only 4, so like we only want him to see like little bits of stuff. And I try to limit the screen time for the most part. But, you know, there's days where it's like he's going to have more screen time or less screen time. But, you know, depending like where he's going to be and what the schedule looks like for the day. But I don't like I'll look at what he's looking at, but I don't try to like monitor what he's doing too much because like he's going to be exposed to everything.
Right.
So like I want to raise him. Like I tell his mom all the time, like you're his mom. That's your baby. This is my little man that I'm raising. Like, I got to make sure this dude is fucking ready. Whenever he gets 18 and he hits the real world, like, shit's fucking unforgiving out there. So I got to make sure this motherfucker's rock solid. Like, I'll be, like, wrestling him, and she's like, why are you so rough? I'm like, this kid's going to be a fucking savage, okay? Like, I'm getting this dude ready for real life and whatever sport he plays. He's going to go out on the soccer field, that little like mini goal, and he's going to fucking be running kids over, and people are going to be like, what's up with this kid? And I'm just going to be like, bro, he's going to the league. Like, he's ready for whatever he wants to be ready for. Like, he will be prepared.
Oh, man. I feel like I go a little bit too hard with my son because I put him through workouts.
I was going to say, I see you put your kid through workouts. You know what's up.
Dude.
He's going to be ready.
But there's times where like he's not paying attention and like I know how smart he is and I know how good he can be. But I go like into hard dad mode. And I know what like we grew up doing with like how our fathers and how our grandfathers and our uncles and our coaches talk to us, right?
Like hard, right?
Hard.
Yeah, hard.
Hard.
Yeah.
And so I might have went a little hard.
Yes.
And I might have said like, hey, you better pay better attention. I'm going to slap your face.
Oh, for sure, bro.
And I didn't like mean it.
No. Well, even if you do mean it, it's like it comes from a place of love.
Right.
It's like, you know, like you just said, like, you know, you should be paying attention.
Right.
You know better. That's the number one thing. And it's like, it's just ingrained in us.
Well,
like, I don't know about for you, but
Here's
for
the thing,
me
though.
it is.
He did amazingly well from there on through the workout. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything
locked in.
locked in for the rest of the workout. Killed it, right? But like the next day, his mom comes up to me, my girlfriend, and she's like, "Hey, you need to take it easier on him. He came in and he said he was crying, and you said you were gonna slap his face. Do you know how bad it would be if you went out there and he said that to somebody else?" And that night, I had seen the video of this dad who his son like missed a tackle in a pee-wee football game, and he's like, "How would you miss a tackle like that?" And he slapped the shit out of his son, like cleaned him out of the ground.
That's different, though.
And he's like, "Get in a stance. Show me how you would tackle him." And then like the kid was like going down, and the dad just like bowled over
just
him.
crushes him.
I was like,
Bro,
dude,
it's hilarious.
all right, that's not what happened.
No,
though.
yeah, it's not like that. Those
I
are
was
two
just
different
getting him to
things.
lock in.
Yeah, no, I think it's different with boys and girls, right? Because girls are very smart, and you don't like want to be stern with them, and they don't want you to be stern with them. But boys, they need that fucking regiment. They need that structure. So, like, the mom's not going to create that structure. Like, that's what we have to do. So sometimes you got to fucking like lock that in. Like, I've talked to a few other dads that are like, dude, like you have to whoop their ass a little bit. You have to yell at them. Like, you have to fucking discipline your kid, or what are they going to turn into?
Mm-hmm.
Like, anytime that I start to like stray away from or be soft on them, you already hear the whining and the like, "Oh, but I want this," and then like the talking back and shit like that. And like that shit doesn't fly in our house. Like, that shit is not gonna fly, because that's just not the way the world works. Like, I don't fucking get taken down.
You don't get anything for crying.
Nothing. Like, I don't get taken down by Kobe Fair in the gym and go, "Oh, I don't want to get taken down." Like, no, motherfucker, you don't want to get taken down. You figure out how to not get fucking taken down. And that's just.
And guess what? This guy's been wrestling since he was 4 years old, so it's gonna be really hard to not get taken down.
It's gonna be really hard to do anything that you want to do in life. So you better figure out how to start getting shit done right now when you're 4 years old. That's that. I already got him doing footwork drills and shit with the soccer ball.
There you go.
That's my thing. I want him to play soccer.
Soccer?
Yeah, less damage.
Football,
So much money.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, especially now with the game finally, they say finally growing here in America, right?
dude, I want him to be that first fucking dude that just takes him to the World Cup and fucking dominates, bro. He's just fucking juiced to the gills, 6'6", fucking shredded, good-looking blonde kid, just running over like fucking. I don't even know how to say it. Like dudes from like Senegal and Poland and fucking just like taking dudes out, like showing them what NBA, NFL level athleticism transition to soccer really looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Are you that into soccer though? You understand soccer like that?
I grew up playing all sports, and I understand the game and I enjoy it, but it wasn't like a huge passion to me or anything. I just like it, and he's like really drawn to it right now. So, you know, if it changes or whatever. But I just think that there's so much fucking money in soccer, and you really don't take much damage. It's like,
right.
You know, it's a clear cut path.
Well, that's what they
especially
say,
in
but the
America.
game has a considerable amount of concussions that you wouldn't expect in the sport.
No, that's true, and it's not any sport's going to be a little bit physical. Other than like basketball right
Football
now.
might end up being safer than
Football's
soccer.
getting- dude,
it might end up being safer someday.
You're not lying, bro. Just QB that motherfucker. Just get in there throwing. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be injuries in any sport. Anything that you're going to do physical in life, there's going to be a chance, other than maybe golf and tennis. But like, you know, he's. I tried to explain this to his mom. Like our genetics, like I'm come from a line of athletes. So there's so many great athletes in my family. Like I'm the runt of the family, like probably the shittiest athlete out of like all my first cousins. So I know what he's going to become. I know what he's going to go through. I know what his abilities and his potential will be. So I'm like, dude, let's fucking push this now, and let's start getting him in like some type, like I want him working out. I want him doing a regimen. I want to get him in gymnastics and get him like able to do anything with his body. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, but yeah, you know, you got to be stern.
Yeah,
gotta be stern
you definitely
no matter
have
what,
to.
you know.
And I also understood where my girl's concern was coming from.
Of course, because we care.
Well, other than that, like a couple of days before that, they went to lunch with her and one of her friends.
Oh shit.
And you know, he was asking me one day, like, you know, why do I have a little bit of fat down here? And I was like, because you have to work your abs harder and stop eating sugar. All right. So he goes to lunch with her and her friend, and they get like a dessert to share, and she's eating and eating and eating, and he's like, hey, you need to stop eating, Auntie Tin. You're fat.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. Kids' honesty is just It's unreal, bro. They just cannot help it.
Yeah.
They can't help but tell
And
the
it's
truth.
hilarious. So I can't
It's hilarious,
I had to
bro.
like scold him in front of his mom.
Yeah, but then you're like,
And they look, dude, that was hilarious, but you can't do that to someone that buys you food.
yes, yeah. I mean, it's a tough balance, but with boys especially, you got to be hard on them. That's fucking funny though, dude.
It's hilarious,
That's so
dude.
funny. My thing is, I'll say like, what
Kind of
was-
disrespectful, but hilarious.
but it's still so funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah. They don't know that it's disrespectful though, and that's like what makes it funny, right? But yeah, I'll say like whoop his ass, or like I'll be like, oh, he got his ass whooped in a fight, and so he'll he's fucking 4, he's a sponge, he'll repeat that. And so we were at the playground the other day, and he's like, Dad, should I whoop his ass? I'm like, there's parents everywhere. It's just, don't. No. We say that at home. You can only say that at home, dude.
We got a bunch of that stuff at our house.
It's hilarious, bro. And I mean, like, you obviously shouldn't just have your kid cussing or fighting
course
kids
not,
or whatever,
no.
or just like exposed to anything and everything. Like, no, it's not like that. But child service is going to be at my door as soon as this podcast comes out. Like, Mr. Augustine, we saw the Still Friend show. No, it's there's obviously, like limits to things. But yeah, like I said, like the more you expose to him, talk to him like a fucking adult, and like tell him like, dude, like you can't say that at the playground. Like, don't. Like yesterday after that happened, I told him like, hey, no ass whoop, no nothing, like none of that stuff at the playground. He's like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
And then he just runs around and does it. But like they know better,
Yeah.
So,
That's the cool thing, because like you talk to them that much, and I feel like that's like a cool thing with our generation is we have that level of communication with our kids.
it's different. Yeah, like you said, like that last generation was way more just like beat you with a belt, like
Right.
you fucked up.
because they were the generation getting knocked out, right?
Before
right?
that, yeah, it only was worse for them. I can
Right.
only
And the
imagine.
generation before that were getting killed and
Dude,
buried
they
in the
were- yeah,
backyard.
apparently, fuck.
And the generation before that was getting sold off for slaves. So it's getting better.
Honestly, your timeline might not be too far off on that.
Yeah, I feel like we're right on point.
That's actually fairly historically accurate.
Did you know there was a Western Underground Railroad? That's a
No.
hard word for me to say as an Asian.
No.
Yeah. Interesting enough, it was Asians in the Underground Railroad.
No shit.
Yeah, it was in like San Francisco, California.
Wow.
Because the laws were weird back then. See, those letters are weird for Asians. But like, it were the Asians being brought over for railroad, for the gold mining age out there, right?
Uh-huh.
And they weren't allowed to bring out their females.
Wow.
No wives, no girlfriends, no families were allowed to be brought out.
Wow.
Just single males.
Wow.
Yeah. So the amount of money illegally being sent back, and then the amount of illegal women being brought over.
Yeah, and then they were bringing them through the railroad, bringing them back.
Which women were starting to be hard to brought over, so they started bringing in female children.
Wow.
And so they were bringing children through the Underground Railroad, through these churches. It was so crazy.
Wow, that is really crazy. I need to look into that. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
interesting.
crazy story.
It's wild that you hear about like certain historic events and like how they're put together in school and like how we're raised through stuff, and then like
but
like,
there's so much stuff to like teach and to learn. It's like, how would you ever learn it all?
that's true.
The only
That's true.
shot we ever
How
got-
do you even give it the curriculum? Like, how do you figure out what the curriculum is?
Right. Did you see the recent episode on Joe Rogan with what's his name? Terrence Howard.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Have you seen any like the memes or any of the clips online?
I've seen a couple of clips with him talking about color and color and the elements on the periodic table having like some type of like, I don't even know what to call it. Like they're basically the same thing, like based off of vibrations.
Right, well, he had an interesting concept on like redesigning the periodic table. That
yeah,
the
yeah.
traditional periodic table is just wrong,
Right.
quote unquote. Like the way it's designed, it makes it hard to understand the elements. And the way that he designed it was like everything has like
It's in like a circle or like it was like a spiral,
almost,
yeah,
right? And
spiral,
it's like
yeah.
each side has like a counter to it, basically.
Yes.
Really interesting. And it lines up with like the interesting. Easy way to explain it is like when you jump out of a pool and you've got chlorine on you, right? And it's all dry.
Yes.
You could rub salt on it and it becomes almost like a lubricant almost.
Right.
It neutralizes itself.
Right.
Super interesting, like a lot of the concepts that he brought up.
No, it really is. But to me, he's always the fucking pimp from what the fuck's
Big Mama's House?
No, bro. What movie is that? Fucking,
Or
the movie where he's in Memphis. Why can't I fucking remember? This is one of my. Oh, Hustle and Flow.
Oh, Hustle and Flow, of
yeah,
course,
bro.
yeah.
That's my favorite movie, bro. It's hard out here for a pimp, especially when you're trying to get this money for the rent, dog. So that's who he'll always be to me. But yeah, it's kind of tight. I haven't seen it like the whole episode though.
Bro, it was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know he was like, you know, super,
into
like,
science and whatnot.
Yeah, like super, like he's obviously seems like very highly educated. Like, you know, I didn't really like know that he was like, you know.
Well, I talked to a couple of buddies who are like in mathematics and whatnot, and they're in theoretical physics and quantum physics, but heavier into the theoretical physics field, and they like instantly discredit everything they say.
I was gonna say, is it like actually align with any truth, or is he just kind of like getting high and saying?
Well, it's like
shit?
It's not even like they're discrediting anything directly what he said. They just say that it's a bunch of baloney, but they haven't really explained to me why.
Why? Yeah, I want to know why.
And is it just because you disagree with what he's putting forward? But like, can you actually like go through his work and tell me where he's wrong,
right?
Or why this wouldn't work,
right?
Or if you like try to replicate that math the way that with the rules that he's giving you, could you replicate it? It's like replicating an experiment. If you can replicate an experiment, then it's something that's a law. Basically.
You show it's
a fact.
True. Yes,
it's a rule in the universe, basically. Yes. So if you can do that, then maybe he's right. Maybe there's some validity there. And if there is, supposedly Joe Rogan's going to get him to sit down with Elon Musk.
Really?
Now, well, he's got the connection with Elon, right?
Both, yeah.
So if what he has means something, it could. The interesting thing of what he explained, without even directly explaining it until like 2.5 hours into the podcast, he had brought up the way that he explains like gravity being. It sounds so like. It sounds like a conspiracy theory almost type of thing, right? But like the way that he explains friction and magnetic fields, it would explain the ability to conduct aircrafts the way these UFAs are. The unidentified flying objects.
Yeah, so that way it's like they're not affected by gravity.
Right, or the UFPs, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
UFPs now?
Yeah, unidentified flying phenomena.
Okay.
Because they don't know if they're objects or really what they are.
You don't know what the fuck it is.
You don't know if it's a drone. You don't know if it's a visual or an optical illusion.
That's true too. You don't know what it is. Yeah.
And it's so crazy. Like, have you ever heard of like the simulation theory?
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Man, I don't know. I live in like this, it's hard to say if it's like kind of in between of like free will, or if it's like, you know, this is one big like simulation, or like if it's all destiny and it's all pre-written, and like, you know, it's pretty hard to say, because I've had experiences in my life where it feels like I didn't make any choices or do anything, and like things were just presented to me, and then like a result came of that and changed me as a person, and then therefore changed like new opportunities and people I was surrounded by. So it's really like, if you're self-aware of like what's going on around you and like how you were introduced to things, it's honestly like really trippy to think about. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I personally start to lean more towards religion, and like that it's kind of more like destiny, so that way I can kind of like let go of control of things. But like, what's different between that and the simulation? You know, like someone just fucking playing you as a character in a video game or whatever. Like, I'm not really sure what the fuck's going on here. It's pretty trippy. What do you think?
It's interesting because like there's like really smart people that have like now redirected their careers and their lives to like fully study this simulation theory. And like I can hear the things that they're saying, and I can see how they arrive there, but it's almost like they're trying to find an answer, and it seems really interesting you bring it up. It seems like a religion almost.
Yeah, it's I'll say, when I've experimented with hallucinogens in the past, that's whenever my mind went to like, oh, maybe this is all a simulation. Is any of this real? Is any of this? But that's where like fighting comes into play for me, because like there's so many gray areas in life. Right. And there's like within relationships, within business relationships, within just like how you feel about things, like results of things that come to you. But like for fighting, it's black and fucking white. Like people bleed, people get hurt. Like it's this way or it's that way. So that's one thing I love about fighting, that I can kind of like escape all of that and just like, no, it's this or it's that. It's not like, oh, it could be God or Allah, or like if we like say it's like religion, what religion is right? Like, because there's 3 different main religions that have stuck around forever. And I'm just talking about Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, Muslim religion, you know, for the most part. Like, obviously there's other sectors within those religions, but, you know, it's just interesting. Like the whole religion simulation theory, it's all so weird. But like if you get too deep into it, like at least I was too deep into it, I feel like, into like it's all a simulation, man, nothing's real. Things are fucking real though. Like bones really fucking break. You really fucking feel that. Like you can really sever a relationship. But is that a part of the simulation? Is it all within your mind? Are we plugged into the fucking matrix? And that's, you know, is that what all of those things are? Are they all sensations from our brain? I don't fucking know, dude. All I know is that I try to keep like my feet right fucking in it and try not to be too much in my head and think about that shit, because it'll fucking drive you crazy, I feel like, unless you actually really had the ability and the understanding of how to like prove it scientifically or like follow theories and try like mathematics to like, I don't even know how you would see that this is a simulation, but you know what I mean? There has to be techniques and like other fucking experiments that people have tried.
Well,
like,
quantum computers, right, would be the way.
Yes.
Like these computers that can do what like 4,000 massive, like high top of line computers can do it in seconds. They would be able to project entire universes basically, and like infinite scenarios and like near infinite timelines basically for us to live through and for us to experience basically.
it's essentially the simulation right there.
Right? It's almost the Matrix.
It's basically the Matrix.
But that's what's so interesting is like no one 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, 100 years ago would have ever said this is a simulation. They would have never said this is the Matrix because none of that was created yet. We didn't have anything digital.
Yes.
But what did we have 2,000 years ago? We had cool ass stories. We had, you know, scribes and things written out. We had commandments. We had people telling cool stories about splitting seas and apples and gardens and snakes and all of that crazy
Drawings
stuff.
of aliens on the fucking inside of the cave.
People living to 500 years old and fucking their sons and killing their families in the name of God.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I don't know, man. That's a fucking rabbit hole, honestly, bro. But I like to think that it's not a simulation because then there's no like control. Like I like to think that like my son's bond and I is like a real thing. Like he's like a real person. It's not like neither of us are real in like this plane that just created our existence. You know, I like to think that there is like a purpose here and that there is a greater purpose that we're somehow a part of. Like for me, like personally, my opinion is that I think that we are spirits. Because like so let's go back. When my dad died, and I was with his dead body, I was like, it was weird because it's like it's him, right? But it's not him. Like there was some like his energy, like who he was, and the essence of him was not with that body whatsoever. Like that was a completely separate thing. So to me, it's like that spirit, our spirit, who we really are, has existed before our body and probably after. So I feel like this place is like a test. It's like a spiritual test because there's so much temptation, right? There's so much fun, cool, sexy shit that we can do that goes against like the greater good. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be any religious based thing. We can all see if you sin, it will reflect in your life one way or another. Like you'll either go to jail if you fucking kill somebody, or if you fuck around on your girlfriend and all, you know, with a bunch of girls, like you're probably going to get caught up at some point. Like, you know, everything that is in dark will come to light usually. So I like to think that this is like some type of like spiritual plane where you get to like either go up or down, and whatever experience comes after this that we probably can't even fucking fathom, through our choices and through our decisions, and you know, and how we interact and how we learn from our choices and our decisions and how we continue to go forward and who we turn into. I don't fucking know shit though.
I don't know if it's that crazy. Like I legitimately think it's like
We could be animals on a rock.
I think we're some of the luckiest things that have ever existed.
It very well could be that way. Do you think
know what I mean?
Do you think there's an afterlife?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
Ever taken DMT?
Never. I've never done it.
You might change your mind after you smoke some DMT.
What if that clouds your mind a little bit?
It could. I've had that thought as well. Hallucinogens, literally, you could just be high and fucking delusional as well, because you just like feel so much like, oh, I'm a spirit, I'm an energy. But man.
Like I think we might be just. It is so rare for something like this to ever exist in the universe. For like all of everything, right? For the sun to be how far it is away from us, for us to have a moon to change our tides the way it does, for us to have an atmosphere around us, for us to have the gases that we do, for us to have the elements that we do, to have the water, to have like the time to go through an evolution.
So what you're talking about is the Goldilocks zone. That's like a planet, like the perfect length from a sun or a star sun, that can have water and like do all these things. But did you know that there's actually more planets in the Goldilocks zone than there are grains of sand on Earth?
No, I understand.
Isn't that crazy?
But we also have observed many of them. We've never seen life on any of them.
Life on any of them.
So how rare does that make us?
It's definitely, and I think that's
because
where
they could also exist in different forms, right?
For sure,
different life
like
forms.
Rick and Morty shit. Yeah, yeah.
But that's why I think we are so lucky to be not only just alive on a planet, to have a planet the way we do with the atmosphere that we do, but to be conscientious like organisms on that planet.
And like you mentioned earlier, the time of our lifespan that is here is so fucking short in the grand scheme of things. But like 500 years ago, try to explain an iPhone to that dude. Try to explain a fucking MacBook to that dude. Try to explain what a podcast is to that fucking dude. Like, we live in such a crazy time to be alive. But yeah, man, I don't know. I do think there's an afterlife. I can remember whenever I smoked DMT, dude, it was like, I felt like I saw God. Like, and it was not like God with the beard, like white Jesus Christ, like, hey, what's up,
He was
man?
black?
No, he was black, dude. No, it was like...
It was Dave Chappelle.
It was Dave Chappelle, dude. You guys don't even know. You guys got to do some DMT. It's Dave.
What if it was like Rodney King or something? Or me, that black guy, like the really buff one with the big dick just
I was
hanging.
going to say with the huge dick, yes. Yes, he was just waiting up there with his dick out. Like, whoa.
You've got to shake this to get in.
I'm good.
You've got to bend over real quick.
That's a painful entry to heaven, dude.
You got to open it up so you can get in.
And then you're just in. No, but I think no. So whenever I smoked DMT, it was like, it felt like I was like an ant on this table, and it was like the biggest, greatest being that you could ever imagine. Not like a person, but just like a giant fucking being that like you can't even fathom how big it is. And I was just like an ant, like seeing this overall loving, forgiving, overall creator of all of this. And I don't know why I knew that or like saw that, but I did. And he was just like observing me as I was observing him. And then it like kind of came back to like the shapes and like the trippy colors and all that shit. And then I was kind of sitting with my thoughts about the circumstances of my life and where I want to be and where I want to go and how I want to do it. And then the answers of those things started kind of like coming to me. And you can sit by yourself and do those types of things, but like the speed of like the answers, like it was almost like you're just like handed the answers to the test. Like you just got given the cheat code, and it's just like, here you go. Now go play with it.
No, so the things that you were leaning or that you had experienced, were they things that you were like leaning towards believing beforehand going in, or like something that you maybe had wanted to think about or wanted to be true?
No, man. I went into it completely open. I was raised, I was baptized Catholic as a child, and then I kind of like didn't really resonate with the Catholic religion much, just because like where I was, it was Midwestern. It was so fucking stern, and like I would be with like 5 of my cousins, and like we would be like dicking around, not paying attention, and like either my dad or one of my uncles would be like, "That's one." That means that's one swat with the belt afterwards. So it's like church sucked, you know. It was never like a spiritual experience. Then I went to Catholic school whenever I was in 7th grade, because I was supposed to play basketball at this Catholic high school back in Missouri, called Duchesne High School, and like everything just turned me off. Like the teachers, the fucking, like they were just so right and everything else was wrong, and it was just so one-sided, and like it was just crazy to me, especially when you're 13, you're like rebelling against shit, and you're just like, no, this don't make any fucking sense to me. And then, you know, as I got a little bit older, it was just like, you know, I don't really know what's going on. I don't really like, I didn't really like think about it too much. And you know, then I had this experience, and I was like, whoa, like this is like this place means something. Like I don't know exactly what it means. Like, I don't know if it's all like a spiritual plane, like a test, whatever. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it felt like. It felt like this is all very important. For some reason, this is very, very important. I don't know. But no, I didn't like lean towards anything. Like, I didn't like think or like want anything. It was just like I didn't even imagine anything like that. Like, it was completely unexpected. The whole experience was not like what I thought it was going to be like at all. And then I came out on the other side like, damn, I gotta fucking like focus and like really, really be tight with my shit, like my energy, like who I spend my time with, who, you know, everything, like what I'm watching, my diet that I'm eating, the diet of like TV, like everything. Like I came out of that experience like, ooh, I'm gonna be razor sharp. Like I don't want any like nastiness in my life. It's pretty weird, bro. It like washes your like consciousness in your brain kind of, and it's like a good reset.
So how old were you when you tried DMT?
I was, I want to say like 20, 21, 22. I can't remember, dude. I was pretty young. I was like right out of high school.
But it made a big impact on you.
Yeah, it made a huge impact. And then...
Have you ever tried it again?
Yeah, I've tried it again, but I didn't have the same blast off. And dude, it's kind of scary because like when you hit it, it creates like this warm sensation over your whole body, and it like feels like you like did a really hard drug. And like I don't do drugs like that, so like whenever I did it, it almost like kind of makes you scared. You're like, oh my god, dude, I fucked up. Like, why would I do that? Like I know better. Like I'm scared right now. Like, am I gonna be okay? And then it like, you know, it's the chemical that supposedly that's released from your brain whenever you die. So then you start to get like the acceptance of like, we're all gonna die, and like, you know, I'm like, you got to be okay with it. And it starts like, then you kind of start like your mind starts going down like a crazy rabbit hole of just like for me it was just like insight, and it just made me like how do I put it, like compartmentalize like all of the different things in my life and why they were important to me or why they're not important to me, but I'm putting too much stuff into it, like things like that. It was helped me like pull emotion out and like separate things and like kind of allow myself to like clearly think about, or just honestly pull out the intuition of what I knew previously and just be like, no, I'm going to act on this in this way. I'm going to act on this in this way. And this thing over here, this relationship with my mom, I'm going to do this from now on. I'm going to be a better son. I'm going to do, you know, X, Y, Z. And same thing in like all the different compartments of my life.
That's interesting. So what kind of did the second experience look like then?
It was just more like, so whenever I hit it, I got like that warm feeling and I was like scared, and I knew I could like hit it again and probably have like that blast off into that next like dimension basically. Cause you were not here. You're like, you are somewhere else. And, yeah, it just wasn't the same. It was just like, I started to have like those insightful thoughts, and I knew I could hit it one more time and just completely go. But I was just like scared. I was like, nah, I don't want the smoke. Not today. I don't want to see you again, God. Maybe some other time.
Was it just because of where you were at in your life at that point in time?
I think so. Because like now I don't have the desire to do it. Like if someone presented it and it felt right, like I would do it. But it's not like anything that I'm seeking out or want to do. Like I feel like I got enough from that first experience where I'm like, I'll hang on to this the rest of my life. Like maybe when I get a little older or finish my career, have like an ayahuasca ceremony, or you know what I mean, some kind of like cool trippy thing. But yeah, I got a lot from that one, and it was like, I'm good.
Man, that shit scares me so much. I feel like I'm the guy that does it and then just goes completely insane.
Never comes back.
Yeah, just goes completely insane.
Just turn to a glass of orange juice. Have you ever heard that one?
No, what does that mean?
You never heard that?
No.
Oh, dude, everyone used to say this back home. Like so-and-so I knew from high school took too much acid and turned to a glass of orange juice. Like that's what we were told as kids.
That's some Midwest shit.
Dude, it's some Midwest shit. Because I remember my mom told me that and my dad told me that. And then one of my friends, we were tripping acid, and he's like, well, what if I just turned to a glass? I was like, what the fuck did you just say? My mom used to say that. And he's like, oh no, my mom said that. I'm like, what? Whoa. Is this a thing? Is this a thing people say? So it's got to be a Midwest.
It's got to be a Midwest
You never
thing.
heard that shit.
Never heard that in my life.
Maybe it never made it to the island, though. I don't know.
Ooh, if it just stopped on the continental United States. It stopped at the Western Underground Railroad with all the little Asians.
That's where it died. Yes.
That's so funny. A lot of them did die.
That's sad.
Yeah, but, you know, cheap labor.
cheap labor.
Built
for
America,
sure.
right?
I mean, that is very true.
Hey, what do you think about the entire the whole rap beef thing?
The big three.
The big three, but I guess more.
Plus Rick Ross is kind of coming. Yeah, it is
I guess
like the
mostly Kendrick Lamar and Drake going at it, right?
Honestly, bro, it all seems like what Kanye and 50 did years ago. It's all just a ploy to fucking get more views. It's the fucking Ryan Garcia. It's fucking let's create some beef. Now we just fucking produced another 1 billion streams, and now they're gonna put out an album, and is there any diss tracks on the album, and then they're gonna tour the album, and it's just seems like a way to create revenue, which I'm not against, but I just don't see any like real beef. Like whenever Tupac and Biggie, what's the song where he's like, I fucked your bitch. Like who shot you? Who shot you? So it's
I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
Yeah. It's like that was real. That like they were really fucking beefing. Like that was not like, oh, let's sell some albums and have this fake beef. Like they were really like gang affiliated and gonna kill each other. So obviously they both got fucking got. I don't see that happening to Kendrick. I don't see that happen to Drake. Have you ever heard the conspiracy theory though that Drake killed X?
I've heard that for years, right? We've heard that for a long time.
I just heard that the other day, and then I actually heard the song where he said killed him in daylight or something, because his number one hit is Moonlight, right? And it was like ran up on him, killed him in daylight, and I was like, he really did say that, didn't he? That's fucking interesting.
Wouldn't it be crazy if it came out that Drake was just this huge crime boss sending out hits?
The softest rapper of all time. I love Drake, but like still one of the softest rappers of all time, just murdering everybody.
Here's the thing I don't understand. What is the difference between Drake and Tupac? What's the difference? It's the exact same model that he followed. Tupac grew up an artist. He grew up going to an art school.
That's facts.
His mom and his dad were Black Panthers before the Black Panthers got corrupt. And then the Black Panthers got corrupt. And then they started dealing drugs. And then he started performing on his own. And then he got sent out west by his counselor that ended up managing him, sent him out with the underground boys.
Yep.
And then he's seen everything happening with like the gangster rap culture.
Yep.
And then if you look at his first couple albums, right, it's like real soulful, real in touch stuff, right? Real like insightful stuff of what he's seen growing up.
Then he jumps on the trend.
Yeah. All gangster rap stuff.
Yeah.
And then that shit got him killed. But it made him a huge star within like 2-3 years. It blew everything up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're not wrong about that. And that is a really interesting take, because obviously Drake is a little more artistic than most most just traditional rappers or anyone these days. He's definitely created his own sound, but
well, he's also piggybacked on a lot of sounds, right?
Piggybacked on a lot of sounds.
He's just lucky that gangster rap wasn't a sound that he had to piggyback on. He got to piggyback on the Atlanta
Wayne,
sound,
baby.
He got to go piggyback off of Wayne.
Fucking Best I Ever Had. I remember that shit came out in like 8th grade. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
But he got to go at ASAP Rocky. Like literally anybody who was popping at the time, and that's why I don't understand why that's a culture vulture stuff. He's promoting you, you're promoting him. Like I never really understood that stuff.
People get on that shit though. It's like, oh, I did this first. I did that. It's like the pride thing. And it's like, okay, well, he got way more fucking views out of it, but you're just jealous of that. Usually, I feel like that's what that is. But
it's gotta be jealousy, right? Because why else would everyone all come out at once?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
why wouldn't you say something when you had the chance to just say something?
Right, or whenever it like first
how long you been
out.
sitting on this?
Yeah, like you've just been talking to your buddies about it, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go public with this. Like, I don't know, man.
It's such a haters.
It's a hater vibe. Yeah, right. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, especially if someone jumps on your style. I feel like you should almost like enjoy that. You're like, oh yeah. Like, I know where that came from. Like, that's my shit right there. And then you can kind of like, just have like respect, appreciate it. Just be like, oh, okay, I fucking made waves like that. That's crazy. And then you just gotta, keep being creative and keep knocking down those walls.
Would you say that though if you've seen people making millions off of your style without you getting a cut of it?
I mean, I'm not a rapper, so it's hard to say. But whenever I see like young fighters, like if I show someone in a like beginner kickboxing class, like, hey, this is how you set this right cross up. This is like the teep. And then you like watch them spar and you do it. You're like, dude, that was fucking awesome. Or if you like see something come to fruition in a fight, like someone that you're close to and you like told them something and they do it, you're like, that's fucking sick. So it's hard for me to imagine like creatively like music because that's so much different than fighting, but
it's not at the same time because it's great that you mentioned that because Sean Strickland's like one of the most known that are like notorious for that, right? Like he will show you every which way he does something.
Yeah.
Like how he was beating you in sparring, how he was doing this to you, what you can do to maybe defend it.
Yeah.
How you can beat him. And it's like you guys are getting paid off of that. These guys are making 7 figures off of that. There are guys under them that are making 6 figures off of it.
Sort of. But like, say I show a guy something who's in the UFC and then he goes out and does it, gets paid, moves up the ladder, and goes. Like, that's kind of the same thing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's
like,
almost the same thing.
Like,
but you don't see the same hate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
on the UFC or the MMA side that you do on like the rap side of things.
But that's what I was saying, where it is different because it's a creative outlet. Like, it's a strictly creative outlet where there's athleticism or like it is a creative outlet. Like fighting is a creative outlet, but
very much so in art.
But like I said, it's black and white. Like gray area. Like I love Mac Miller. He's my favorite rapper ever. I don't know who's your favorite rapper.
I would normally say Drake.
So it's just like there's that gray area of like what you like versus what I like, or what I think is dope, what you think is dope, and like why he's your favorite. Like there's that gray area where like Islam Makhachev is the best 155 pounder on the planet. Black and white, like there's no argument. Or he gets beat by Dustin Porier and Dustin's the best. Like it's straight how it is. Like that's what I was saying earlier about like there's so much gray area in life, like within your relationships, within creative art, within work. Like if you're gonna design a t-shirt, will it sell? Like how, like, there's so many factors and so many different things that like can play a huge variable in how things shake out. But like with fighting, do you defend the takedown? Can you defend the takedown appropriately? Can you throw a proper jab? Can you defend the jab? Can you, like, there's all these strict black and white answers that will come out whenever the fight happens.
You also got that gray of who set that matchup up. What matchup did you get?
When was it? How did it come about? Whose camp? What's going on in their personal life? There is a lot of that happens that goes on behind the scenes, but yeah, actually, you're kind of right.
There's a lot of gray area and everything that, like you said, there's gray area everywhere.
Yeah, you're kind of right. But
it all kind of comes down to the narrative and who's selling what and who's buying what.
That's true, man.
Because if you can sell the story and you can sell the narrative, people are buying it.
Dude, that's all the UFC is.
Yeah.
And I love it. UFC, Sean, I'm not talking shit. But Sean O'Malley, what is it, like 2 guys are still in the UFC out of his fucking last 8 fights or something like that? Like, how did that get set up? How did those guys get brought in at that time? How much notice did they have before those fights? What were their previous fights like? How long out did they know about the fight? Or did they just find out it's going to be Sean in 4 weeks and he's a megastar, I'm going to fucking go get it, but Sean's ready for you. And, it's like, yeah, the UFC is the ultimate marketing machine, and it's to your point, they can push whoever they really want to push. I mean, obviously you got to win fights, but like those are huge factors. All of those things are huge factors.
A lot of people even talk about that with like Khabib, right? And like his getting to the title,
pre-UFC record,
pre-UFC, getting to the actual title fight. Like he was supposed to fight Max Holloway, right, for the belt, and then Iaquinta stepped in, and he was like number 8, at the time, and that's how Khabib got the actual lightweight title belt.
That was the fight that got him the belt.
Yeah,
Iaquinta. Who did he beat before Iaquinta though? Because it was someone pretty solid. Because he was supposed to fight someone else. He was supposed to fight Ferguson, and then it was Max, and then Iaquinta, right?
That's right. But he didn't fight.
Never fought Tony.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That is so fucking crazy.
He went from supposed to be fighting Tony, who was like the man at the time, right?
But he did defend though against Conor.
Monsters
and Gaethje. Conor may have been past that pinnacle a little bit, but he was still on top of his game.
It was after he boxed Floyd.
It was after he boxed Floyd, and that's whenever that tip of the mountain is, it seems like. So he could have caught him on a downside, could go back to that point a bit, or you could chalk it up to that point a bit, but like Gaethje was on top of his fucking game, and he fucking dogged him like we've still never seen. So
What he did to Poirier.
and what he did to Poirier, I mean, he dominated him. Another fucking legend who's had so much success in the sport. So yeah, that's a tough one though. I'm kind of back and forth on that. But a lot of those Russians and Dagestani guys do build a record like Khabib pre-UFC. Like I think Khabib, he is one of the GOATs for sure. Like he's not in like my top 5 or maybe not even my top 10, but you have to give respect where it's due.
Of course.
And you know, he was a great champion. But
I think he's similar to what Michael Jordan is to basketball. These guys are some of the
Excuse you,
greatest
sir?
of all time, but they're not as great as they're saying. You know what I mean?
I saw your post today with Scottie Pippen. I'm going to tell you, I'm slightly offended, brother.
But where am I lying though?
No.
Michael Jordan,
No.
in his entire career, has never had a winning season without Scottie
Scottie?
Pippen.
He never
in his
had a
entire
single-
career. From 84 to 87 when he got Scottie Pippen, no winning.
But those are also the first 3 years, and Chicago was in a transitional period with their whole team.
Do you see what LeBron did? LeBron took his team to the conference finals.
But what guys did LeBron have around him before? What guys did Jordan have?
What are you talking about? They had the worst record in the league. How do you think they got
Who?
LeBron? The Cavs.
Oh yeah. Wait, the first year he took him to his
in
rookie
his
year?
third year.
So third year. Well, okay. So 87 would have been Michael's third
Yeah,
year.
but that's
they built that team quite a bit because they had what's old boy with the
No, they
fro?
were losing.
No. Once by that third year.
Yeah, they started losing records the whole time. Their max wins they had at that point was I think like 38 wins or something like that.
That year that they went to the conference finals, though, they had Verjao, I think is his name.
Oh, you're talking about Braun's team. Okay.
Yes, LeBron's team. Yeah, they had Verjao. They had fucking...
You're talking about the NBA finals. I was talking about the conference finals. He made the conference finals a few years before that.
I
against
thought-
Detroit.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I think they still had Verjao on that team, but I could be fact checked. I could be wrong, but I want to say that team had a few.
Are you really putting Verjao as like a?
He's a role player. That's what I was going to say.
wasn't
He's
even
no
an-
Scottie
he wa-
Pippen. He's a role player. They had a set role players, and they all knew LeBron's job, and they were like, "Take it,
Verjao?
baby." He's a rebounding motherfucker, dude.
Dude, did you really just
He's a
bring-
rebounding motherfucker, dude.
Let me ask you this: would you know Verjao's name if LeBron didn't play on the Cavs?
I was a huge basketball guy, so I would.
Are you
but
sure about that?
1,000%.
Can you name me another power forward from that era that you can compare to Verjao?
To compare, it's
Not
tough.
at all, right?
To compare, it's tough.
Okay, then just as good as him, like where you would be like, that's an even trade.
See, it's hard.
Could not.
I know. I can name a lot
there's
better ones.
Yeah, that's my point.
Okay, that's a good point. That's
a really good point,
Okay,
right?
That's a good point.
And you should at least say like Big Z, right? Agauskas, right?
Yes, that's a good one.
He's
that's
like
a good
their
one.
second leader in points for the Cavs in their team's history.
Yeah.
He's a decent center. But would you call him a top 5 center in the league?
Fuck no.
Would you call him a top 10 center in the
No,
league?
never.
Maybe top 15? Something like that, like a middle of the road center.
Possibly.
Top
yeah.
15, top 20 center. So like, and Anderson Verjao, somewhere around there, top
Somewhere
20.
around there, for sure.
And LeBron took them to the finals.
I should have said Glenn Davis. Damn it.
Dude, why?
Big baby, dog.
But with LeBron though,
No, you're right. You're right.
there's like Kobe had Shaq.
Yes.
Right?
You got to have your player.
That's
You
how
gotta
Kobe
have
got there.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
specifically with Michael Jordan, with Pippen, when Michael Jordan left, do you know what happened? They went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes, and they lost to the Magic.
in 7.
Yes.
And then that year, to the Knicks.
Was it to the Knicks?
They lost in 7 games to the Knicks.
I thought it was to
and
the-
then the Knicks went to the. Oh, you're talking about when Michael Jordan came back. I'm talking about.
Because you're right. You're right.
The first year that
he
Michael
was
left.
gone.
But this
Yeah,
is
he
my
was gone.
point.
Yeah.
You take off the greatest player in the world, and then you go to a Game 7 in the conference finals against the New York Knicks,
You had
who
a
also
squad.
go to Game 7 in the NBA finals. That just shows you that
Their team was already one of the best of all time, or was a championship
without
caliber
Michael
team.
Jordan.
Without Michael,
they were championship caliber without Michael Jordan.
but your boy Michael averaged 40 points a motherfucking game for like 10 years straight, and
You're overstating. It wasn't 40 points a game.
it was like 38 something.
He had a
39,
couple seasons of 38.
39.
It was like
something.
35.
Yeah,
36.
It went down after Phil Jackson came, and they implemented
The triangle, right.
Yeah. So that's not everything, but the 6 championships right? I mean, like LeBron
But
never
again,
did that.
how could you put that on Michael when you just said you brought in Phil Jackson, who changed the way they played the game, and then you had this guy who was the best two-way player in the game brought in? How can you give Michael all the credit for 6 championships?
I'm not saying give him all the credit. I do agree with you that Michael had a much better team than probably LeBron ever had outside of the Lakers, which is like, wow, that's fucking crazy. But he's also old. So,
and if you think about that era, like when you go back to watch those games,
badass era.
dude, no, all the expansion teams in that era, the Minnesota Timberwolves and all of them, dude, basketball was so clowny back in those days.
Oh, it was crazy.
You should have won 72 games every single year. What were you doing, loser? You bald loser.
The Timberwolves had 4 starting white guys.
Bro, what are we talking about? It was so, like, basketball was bad in the NBA for an era. But they were scoring 80 points a game. It wasn't great defense.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's different, bro. It's different because the game
Completely
evolved.
different.
Because, like, think about Larry Bird's era and then Magic Johnson and and then into Michael. Like, you just see the transition and how much the game changed. Now you look at, like, fucking every kid's trying to throw up fucking 40-foot three-pointers now in the fucking little leagues because of Steph Curry. Like, the game is going to consistently transition and transform. But yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. Now that you say that, I just don't think Scotty was better than Michael. That's all. Scotty, I don't know. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either. I
there.
watched a lot of it, and like what I get from it, and like I talked to a lot of old heads about, some of them agree with, is Michael was just that big of a personality that he kind of put Pippen into his place.
That's what I was going to say. And now that is why he's looked at how he is, you know, because that's how he treated everybody. Like, I'm the fucking top dog, and this is just the way it's going to be. But then also the stats kind of, like, relayed that as well. Now, that could just be his attitude relayed into the game, and he just didn't fucking pass to those guys. But they were going off the triangle system at that time, so they were moving the ball. But
Of course, more. I mean, Jordan had the pass over to Kukoc, right?
Yeah.
Kukoc hits the 3. Like,
right.
So, I mean, yeah, it was partially the offense, partially he's just a nasty scorer.
Yes.
But how many guys are there out there today with that vertical at that size? With a shot, with that shot.
That's
better.
what I'm saying, though. The game's different today. Because, like, if you look at LeBron versus Michael, like, if you just compare him one-on-one, LeBron's bigger, he's taller, stronger, weighs more, runs faster, jumps higher. Like, yeah, if you look at it that way, it looks like LeBron's the better player. But you have to look at, I think you have to look at how throughout their career they affected teams and like where their success was for the teams. Because Michael had a fairly short career for having fucking 6 championships within that time. Like, that's fucking crazy.
But I think that's the thing, you got to think about the era. It wasn't, I believe, hard physically to play in, but
That's what I was gonna say.
The amount of elite players on your level out
Not
there,
as much, but
nowhere near as much.
I mean, there was,
dude, and you got to think,
Clyde, and there was fucking Hakeem Olajuwon, and that, like they had their superstars. You know what I mean? There was stars back then. It's not like it is now though, because I feel like there's more, like with social media, there's more like star branding, like building stars versus, and like players are interested in that, like. Melo was a fucking megastar, one of the best players ever, 0 championships, because I feel like he was so heavily invested in that, and like being a star and like being the guy on the team, where it seems like everyone on those Bulls teams were just focused on championships. Like, I don't know, it could have been shittier teams too though, but like Patrick Ewing in New York, like dude, they had some fucking battles. They had to get through the bad boys. Like, I don't know, man.
he didn't get through the bad boys though. I mean, they were
last year.
They were kind of the bad boys then, right? I guess they were getting older.
They still had Rodman. They had.
They were getting older.
With a tall white dude, I forget his name. They were getting older.
They were getting older.
Yeah.
Michael was losing to them. He was losing to them until the 90s, and Michael had played 7 years or 6 years of his career
6 years
before the 90s.
That's true.
All right,
That's true.
That's a long time.
That is a
That's
long
how
time.
long LeBron spent in Cleveland before going to Miami almost. He spent 7 years, right, in Cleveland,
That's
I believe.
interesting. Now that's an interesting
Bro,
take.
that's what I'm telling you. You have to really look at it. You can't just listen to what the media reported. Bro, you know how ESPN only reports positive about LeBron James for the most part?
Yeah.
It was 10 times worse for Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And all the naysayers didn't have a voice. Everybody was making money off of Michael Jordan.
Right.
So nobody could speak out.
Right.
None of the reporters could ask the hard-hitting questions or anything.
Well, and you're only only watching Sports Center and reading the fucking sports page back then. It's not like you could jump on any podcast or fucking get on your phone and watch all these different takes on different shit. Or like ESPN has fucking 20 different shows now with all these different analysts that are going to be able to say whatever they want. So it is a much different time. That's true.
And it was also the thinking about it at the time. If you went against it, Nike's not going to sponsor this.
Yes.
Nike's not going to sponsor this. Do you understand? Make Michael look good. You can't write that about Michael. You need to scrap that article.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to think. Did LeBron win a championship before he went to Miami? Because I know
He did not.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So yeah, he didn't win one there.
No.
But,
Just got to the finals and lost to the Spurs.
Yeah.
So he never.
Tim Duncan. That was a squad.
Dude,
right there.
think about who he was
Parker.
going. Come on,
Bro. That's a squad.
with Tim Duncan, one of the best power forwards of all time.
Yes.
Ginobili.
Yes.
Right? Was Patty Mills on that team yet? I don't believe so.
I don't know.
But he had Kawhi Leonard another year that he beat him while he was in Miami, right? Who was like, look at what Kawhi Leonard's
what he's
career
turned
did.
into,
Come
yeah.
on, and that was, I believe, Kawhi Leonard's prime.
Yeah.
When you really think about it,
Yeah.
maybe his shooting wasn't there yet.
Yeah, it
'cause
wasn't
he didn't
as
have
good, yeah.
whatever, I forget the names of the coach, but he didn't have him on his
He was
squad
raw.
yet.
Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he's Kawhi, that team was crazy. And you got Popovich, who's basically Mark Jackson of the era, right? Oh, such a crazy time.
It's kind of crazy that LeBron had to go up against the Pistons quite a few times whenever they had Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, fucking Chauncey Billups, like all those.
Tell me that team's not better than the Bad Boys.
I was gonna say it's almost like that times Bad Boys, like, and he had to fucking navigate his way. He actually didn't.
Rip
get to them.
Hamilton, come
Rip
on.
Hamilton, oh bro,
Come on.
shooter.
Let's go. Like, I think that team was better than what Michael had to go through early in his career.
It may have been that Detroit team was.
And LeBron beat him. Do you remember what he did in the fourth quarter in overtime?
I was gonna say.
What was it, 20, like 7 points straight or whatever it was?
And he was only in the league for a few years at that point.
Dude, he was like,
it was highly
he was like
impressive.
24 years old, 23 years old.
and just carried him on his back.
Bro, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, fuck, man. I wish I was 6'9", 260.
Bro,
Fuck fighting. Fuck Alex Morgan.
bro, it's crazy. He's so good. Like, and the fact that he made it through that era and like he didn't take the break, right? It was competitive. He was in the finals all those years. All those years. He's 20 years down the line, still, he just went like head to head with the Nuggets, who barely lost. They lost in Game 7, right, against the Wolves.
Yeah.
But like to still be like in a complete different era of the game and still be at the top of the game.
That's one thing that is very interesting. But also, they have more HGH and EPO readily available nowadays as well.
It's got to be that, right?
I mean, his
yeah.
physique hasn't changed at all, bro. If anything, he looks.
It has though.
Yeah?
But it has. Do you
Well,
remember
I mean,
when
naturally, of course, but
that's what makes me think that he might have been on it the whole time.
duh, dude, what? Come on, dude.
Do you remember
Come on.
Dude, he was jacked in Miami, dude.
He
Jacked.
leveled up whenever he went to Miami, but I think he was probably already doing shit previous to that.
I don't know.
Whenever, like high school LeBron is pretty fucking skinny. Whenever he had the tape over the tattoos and shit, he's pretty skinny. But then those first couple of years in Cleveland, you see him start blowing up. And
But you got, what did you do when you were 19?
that's true. You fill out,
Right.
You fill out,
But the weird thing is 2010.
right? When you're
Right.
26, 27, and you hit a fucking another puberty,
Yeah.
it's dicey.
But then now he's super lean. He still has muscle, but he's just so lean now.
At 40.
That's what's like, how do you do that?
How do you do that? And I'm not hating on it. I wish that it could be regulated in all sports because, like, it's not regulated in the NBA or NFL, but it might as well be.
Because of how much science is behind it these days, right?
Yeah, and honestly, the more that's invested into it and the more that people do it and experiment with it, the more we're going to learn and understand about it.
I think they're there already, though. I genuinely think they're there. It's not like the old boogeyman days where it's like, if you take HGH and steroids, you're going to fuck up your body, you're going to die early.
Right.
It's not that anymore.
No, it's not that anymore, but I have a good friend who has experimented with a lot of these drugs, and he actually understands the science behind a lot of it. But he basically told me that, like, it's not like any other field of science. Like, it was illegal drugs for a long time, so people couldn't really like experiment with them and play with them and see like how they affected different things. But like, so it's still in the infancy stage of all that stuff. So I think like it could only increase. It could only make, insane entertainment for fucking all sports,
That's exciting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, fucking juice everybody in the fucking baseball game. Fucking let them knock the ball fucking 900 feet, please. Like, come on, let's fucking get this shit going.
How do you think you regulate it? Do you like you put everybody has to get tested and there's like a maximum testosterone or whatever you can have?
No, you just have a doctor on every team that checks your blood and fucking does whatever and says, this guy's lacking in power, so we're gonna give him more fucking anabolic steroids, or we're gonna give him more HGH, or this kid's 22 years old and isn't quite filling out and his diet sucks. Like let's give him a little GH, or this guy's older. Maybe he needs a trace amount of EPO. He's fucking 40 years old and all he needs is a little pick me up to fucking make sure he can recover properly to fucking, pitch, the next 5 days or play basketball, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't know. That's what I think. And they just don't test. Like, why? Especially for like basketball, baseball, football, I can kind of understand because we're smashing the fuck out of each other. Like, people have been very badly injured, but like they're changing the rules. It's like, there's millions of dollars at stake. Like, we're going to draw the line at if they're going to smoke marijuana or take some fucking steroids. Like, who cares? Who gives a fuck? Honestly.
I know you're like, it's so loose the way we're talking about it right now, but I can genuinely see some juiced up flag football playing wide receivers within the next like 6 years.
I want to see that shit, dude. Julio Jones, just fucking juice him though. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing. You're not gonna let him hit anymore. That's the whole thing.
That's the only thing that I want to see back, dude. Like old school, like when we were growing up, like and you used to be able to fucking like the safety would take out the receiver on the fucking suicide
you crack
slam,
back on
bro.
him.
Yes, right as the ball's in the air, right as it's coming in, you just fucking see those massive hits. Like, obviously you don't want to be the receiver taking that, but that shit was awesome to watch, dude. Awesome. And now it's like,
but it was like everything you looked for. Like I hated being on special teams, right? But if you got placed on like a kick return, like I am 100% looking to crack back on somebody. I am making sure that I look lazy, so nobody looks at me. They look at the ball carrier, and I'm gonna sprint, hawk your ass down, and just crack back on you.
And not even like as they're running forward a clean hit. I'm trying to fucking catch you on the slant. I'm trying to catch you on the angle. You're fucking chasing him. I'm fucking putting you to sleep.
I'm gonna blindside the shit out of you. I'm trying to put my face mask into your ear hole.
Super fucked up, but highly entertaining.
Highly sought after.
Highly entertaining. Bro.
Come on.
It's fun to do to someone too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you know how many times I've had it done to me?
No. How many?
Oh my God. Like, I can't count. Like, there was a game we played against the Hilo Vikings who like ended up running Division I on the Big Island for, I think they still kind of do. It's a little bit back and forth right now, but they hated us for some reason. And every single punt, every single kickoff, imagine 11 guys basically going to do that.
They were just that much bigger, stronger, faster. Like every person was just smashing people.
They had basically all the college recruits from the island on one team.
Wow.
Just smashing. Dude. It was like, all right, this is dangerous. You guys, like, can you guys throw some flags? You guys aren't throwing any flags. Bro, like, long snapper, crack!
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
All the gunners, crack! Like, everybody's just getting smoked on the field. And it was, like, watching film back on it to this day is like, oh, gosh.
After the play, everyone's getting up, helping each other up. They're just like, hey, you good? Yeah, you good? Yeah, all right, let's go to the bench, dude.
It was bad. Like, we actually had a brawl with that team my senior year. Like, our last game we ever played.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you guys get beat?
Oh,
I would assume they're fucking squad.
Yeah, they were squadded up. They won the championship that year. But like my buddy was at quarterback. He underthrew a ball, and my other friend's at receiver.
Crushed.
DB jumps in front of him, intercepts it. He grabs him, throws him to the ground. As the guy's on the ground, he's looking at him, the receiver, and he throws a kick at him.
Oh, he soccer kicked him.
The linebacker who used to go to our school for almost his whole life transferred there because he's so good. Beelines towards him. And you can see him like sliding up on some Ray Lewis shit with a huge neck roll on. Blows up the wide receiver. Instantaneously, our whole sideline just starts sprinting out. Their sideline starts sprinting out.
Damn.
We brawl for like 25 minutes.
I was going to say, did the fight actually go on? Damn, so it went on for a minute. Bro, it just could not be broken up.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's swinging at each other. People are swinging at coaches. Coaches are throwing players to the ground. It was crazy. A bunch of suspensions. It was a good time.
Parents were coming out of the crowd fighting and shit.
They definitely, if luckiest thing about that, this was at Wong Stadium, so it's a baseball stadium, and we play like half of the Dolphins used to play, so we're
Yes,
playing in like
yeah.
the outfield basically.
Love that stadium.
It's the worst, dude. It was the running, because you got to think, for a baseball field, there's like a divot that happens, right?
Yeah, that little lift. Yeah.
So like running to the sideline to get somebody, and you run to like the dirt,
and
dude.
fucking hit it. Yeah.
The
You're not even
worst.
thinking about it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's pretty awesome though.
It sucked, dude. It was the worst.
Dude, hit somebody and fucking slide through the dirt though. That's awesome.
Are you gonna let your kid play football, you think?
If he really wants to, he's fucking huge, dude. He's as big as most 6-year-olds.
No, dude. Like you said, he was 4, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, he's huge. Like he's going to be like, his mom is really tall, and fucking her dad and
Did you do that?
uncles are big.
Did you do that on purpose?
I wish I would have went bigger. I could have did better.
You could have gone black.
Yeah, still might. You never know. But nah, it's
Or you just do the Michael Chandler route.
yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Bring him in.
Get him a
train
brother.
Get him. Oh my god, it's hilarious. Yeah, poor Michael. He just gets tore up on that.
Yeah.
But fucking yeah, dude. I think he's gonna be super athletic, and he's in the 99 percentile of height, and I think the 93rd of weight. So it's like, if he wants to play football with that body, like, I'm just gonna make sure he gets the proper training, proper nutrition. We're doing the right things. Like, I'm definitely not gonna be that dad fucking smacking him in the fucking ear hole and yelling at him how to make a tackle. But like, I'll definitely have him aligned with the right summer camps and the right coaches and the right programs to where he can be successful if he really wants to. Because like, I don't care what he does. I just want him to do whatever he wants to do and like do it well, and help him do it well. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Like, I've been asked like if he's gonna fight, or if I would let him fight or whatever. And it's like, I do not want him to fight by any means necessary. I don't really want him to play football either. Like, that's why I'm like leaning towards the soccer. But if he wants to do it, I'm gonna make sure you do it right. Like, and especially like being a fighter myself, I know what that, being that B-side looks like. I know what fucking, like, that will never happen to him. Ever, ever, ever. And with football, you definitely don't just want to be the kid fucking in the middle of the road, kind of just out there lollygagging, but you're still on the field, and then fucking the next Ohio State recruit comes fucking flying down the field and just smokes you. Like, I don't want that to happen to him. So he's gonna have to be a beast, or you just can't do it. So it's kind of like one or the other,
right?
I just don't want to see him in there with just like one foot in the water. Like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna fucking do it, bro.
It's so hard to find something they're going to be passionate in, though, right? You kind of got to leave
Especially
it up to
when
them.
they're young. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't even care. It's just like, I just want. That's why I said gymnastics too, because I just want him to be able to do whatever he wants to do with his body. So whatever time comes, whenever he's like, oh, I want to play basketball, I want to play baseball, I want to play football, I want to fucking run track, he'll be physically able to fucking excel in whatever it is. But he's gonna be big, so those NFL contracts,
they're getting up there, right?
you know what? I'm actually pulling out of the fight. We're going to take him to some hitting classes right now. We're going to get Jordan and King together. We're going to have them just fucking CTE'd out by 10 years old. They don't need to think about anything. They're going to be fucking monsters, dude.
And we just have to manage their money. We can't let them be Antonio Brown, right?
No. We got the money, dude.
Can you believe he filed for bankruptcy already?
Dude.
He made over $80 million in his career.
I kind of can, because I can remember right after he walked off the field and shit, all the stuff that was going on. He was flying to this game, and he was courtside at this game, literally like a week after, 2 weeks. Like, it was all, and he would fucking have the craziest looking fucking diamond chains. Like, and I can remember thinking, like, dude, that's like, he seems very impulsive, and like, that's how that happens. So, I don't know. Have you heard of the fraud stuff going on with the NBA players? Oh, you haven't heard this?
What's that?
Oh, this is good. So I cannot remember the dude's name, but like, Glenn Davis is going to jail for
that's right,
like 40
yeah.
months or something like that. There's a few other players that are involved as well. Sebastian Telfair. I can't remember like the like ring leader's name, but he played for the Portland Trailblazers, I think, for like 11 seasons. So like, obviously dude did pretty well, but the guys were pulling insurance scams. Like, they were saying like, they would like get their tooth pulled by this doctor in LA, but then like their records would get pulled. Or like, I know there was one report, I can't remember which player it was, but someone reported they got like 6 caps on the same tooth in LA from this one doctor, but meanwhile they had like expenses, like they had used their credit card in Paris. And it's like, obviously you were fucking exploiting, because they would get half the money back from like, whatever they procedure they had done.
Right,
It's like
right.
The NBA insurance, will just cover whatever. So they would get whatever caps done, and fucking it'd cost $100,000, and then they'd get $50K check in the mail
From the doctor's office or whatever.
no, from the insurance of the team,
Why would they get the money?
because they're just getting what's it called? You get paid back. They're just getting like refunded that, like the money that they spent.
Oh, so they're saying that they spent the money there.
They send the paperwork and say, oh look, I spent $100,000 on all this, on new teeth or whatever the fuck it was, or like chiropractors were involved with it as well. So like they were saying they're going to the chiropractor like 5 times a day, like crazy shit. It's so fucking stupid. Like I can't believe they thought they were going to get away with it. And then they would, the expense report would come back, and then they send the money to the player, which is crazy that they were trying to pull schemes for like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, but they're making, I think the league minimum's like $890 or some shit. It's like, what the fuck are you doing with your money, dude? $890, I'd be chilling, dude. I'm not trying to go get another 50. Like, I'm definitely trying to get more money. I'll be investments, but I'm not trying to fucking scam the team's insurance company for fucking $100,000.
Yeah, but you got to think about it like this, right? So imagine, and I guess you kind of are in the same position where people in the exact same position as you, if you were at work, right? Like if you were a salesman, another salesman sitting right next to you is making $50 million a year while you're making $890,000 a year.
That's facts.
And you guys are living the same life.
That's facts. That's very true.
Or you're trying to live the same life.
Or you're trying to live the same life because you're going out and you're trying to like portray, oh, I'm an NBA player, yeah, and you're fucking blowing all your money.
Or if you just, what you're seeing is the norm, how can you keep up with the norm?
That's on you, dog. I don't know. 890,000, I'd be living good though. And I don't give a fuck about no 50 million. I mean, obviously I want
Yeah,
it.
but are you gonna pull up in your Hyundai while your buddy's pulling up in his Maybach?
Hell no.
Then you're gonna go broke.
No, I ain't going broke, dude. You got 890,000. I'm not saying go fucking get a Rolls. Like, I'm just saying you get yourself a nice car. You get yourself a fucking, a little Audi, a little
Hyundais
40,000.
are nice.
You talking shit on my Hyundai? You get some decent like fucking Escalade for I think like $70,000 right now. Like a brand new one, 80, 90 maybe.
$120,000.
Oh my god.
Brother, it's a crazy market right now for things.
Sheesh.
Inflation is insane.
Inflation is insane. Damn, that's a lot of money.
And they can go higher than that with the
If add-ons.
Well,
and fucking,
not just the add-ons, with the dealer markup on them now because they take so long to get.
Wow.
And they're so backed up with computers and the chips. That's still going on.
That's fucked up.
That'll go on for the next 20 years, kind of thing.
Damn.
Until they get the infrastructure in place to actually produce all of our chips here in America.
That's fucking crazy, dude. But yeah, you get my point. Fuck, if you got a 5-year contract where you're making $900,000, you could still have a good life.
If you get a $120,000 Escalade, how long is that Escalade gonna last you? 4 or 5 years?
You're gonna get a new one.
Well, you're also gonna buy a house, right?
Oh, of course. And then you're not gonna live like you're not gonna buy a normal house.
Are you gonna have a maid? What are those HOA fees gonna look like? What are those taxes gonna look like for your land per year?
That's very true. That's very true. But you could take that $890,000 and invest it properly and have stuff like, you like if you have $100,000, you can invest in some Section 8 housing in St. Louis right now you could probably make anywhere from $4,000 to fucking $5,000 a month, and you just put $100,000 investment down. Over the years, you're obviously going to make more than that. So it's like there are ways to fucking.
It's hard to find, but you're starting to see that now. Like I seen a video recently of a guy. He's a rookie. Went into a Tesla dealership to go get a Tesla truck. Loved it. Took it on a test drive. Came back. Called his money manager. The money manager told him how much the car salesman was selling it for. It was like $120,000, $130,000 for a Cybertruck. That's like $70,000 MSRP.
Damn.
Money manager told him,
Bro,
that's a
fuck
no-go.
that.
That's not a move for us right now.
Yeah, $50,000 just for the dealership? No, hell no. Yeah, but you definitely need something like that. You definitely need a guy.
But that's the guy that's going to get you to invest in the Section 8 or to go get a couple of quadplexes or duplexes.
See, you already know the deal. Yeah, I mean, and you just got to be smart with your money. And I only fucking probably think that way because fighting, you make so little amount of money compared to other sports where it's like, you got to figure out what your next play is going to be before you're done with this shit, or you're going to be fucking filing bankruptcy, having to fucking go be a cop or a teacher or fucking open up a gym and coach and shit like that. I mean, some people want to do that, and that's totally cool, whatever. But, like, You know,
The big difference, the best featherweight in the world, what did he make in a year? 10 million?
hopefully,
Maybe?
Hopefully.
Maybe?
yeah, maybe.
Maybe. That sounds actually very optimistic,
I was gonna say I don't think Topuria made no 10 million.
right? But the number one pitcher in the world, what did he make? 50 million?
Probably more, dude.
The number one quarterback made 57 million, 54 million.
on his salary. Imagine the sponsor deals that come with that.
So, I mean, if you think about a Dak Prescott, he probably makes 70 million a year.
But fighting and like the NBA and the NFL are completely fucking, they're apples and oranges, because fucking Sunday they're gonna get 60 million viewers. What's a good pay-per-view night? 1 million is we fucking raked.
Dude, it's
2 million, you
one of
just
the
did
greatest
numbers of all
Yeah.
time. 2 million.
Isn't that so weird, though?
It's
Like,
a matter of time for it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get how people don't see the entertainment in it. Like, obviously it's grown, but like, how have those numbers not transitioned into like 5 million pay-per-view buys
10
or like
million.
or 10 million? Yeah. Like, I don't understand. But also illegal streaming as well is a huge thing. I don't
Right,
know.
and that's kind of where MMA has done its biggest growth, was the illegal streaming era.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's a big reason you're not seeing it. But even when you look at like the transition to the numbers on ESPN, right? They're not really there.
That's what I was gonna
But
say.
you also look at it. When do you ever see UFC commercials like highly publicized or like a high level UFC promoted commercial?
Yeah, it's very rare.
You don't really get it. I mean, you're finally starting to get the hype behind like the WNBA, right? When they're put as the headline and they're treated as important, look at the growth that sport is going to.
That's true.
Why would you not put that towards the MMA, especially with like how like entertaining of a sport it is? It's incredible.
And that's what I was saying. Like, I don't understand how, like, because everything's so open now. Like, like what we were talking about earlier, like, there was only one channel to watch sports. So, like, of course, fucking kickboxing was, like, pushed down to fucking 3 a.m. on ESPN2. Like, no one watched it. And, but, NBA, NFL's on primetime. But, like, now you can pull up Sean O'Malley's last fight or like any old Conor fight in 1 second on your phone and like watch any of these old fights. So yeah, it's just weird to me that it hasn't, like, the numbers haven't like exponentially shot. Like, I know they say like the viewership doubled during COVID, which is pretty significant, but it's just like, how is it not even, it's not even comparable still, like I said. Like, so it's just, I don't know. I think it's just going to take time for people to continue to catch on and just see how many details and how fucking awesome
You know what it might be too? It's so long between when a star fights.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. That's what I was thinking whenever you said like the advertisement is they try to advertise through stars. You know what I mean? Like they want to push the next Dustin Porier and Islam Makhachev fight. You're not going to see like a UFC commercial, but you'll see the commercial for like the big pay-per-view or Conor's big pay-per-view or whatever. So they like let the stars build, the sport. Like they build the star builds the sport. So I don't know. It's weird.
But it's like, for example, if we're using the WNBA, right? Caitlin Clark is like the talk of the town right now, right?
Yes.
So she's got 2 games a week, 3 games a week. So she's going to be on First Take in the morning. She's going to be on all the sports shows on Tuesday.
Yes.
And then maybe even Wednesday to promote it.
Yes.
And then maybe even Thursday to promote her game that's coming up on
Saturday.
Friday,
Yeah,
right? Or
Friday.
that's
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah, yeah.
And then she's going to have that game. Then it's going to go into the news coverage.
And then it goes into next
all the
week.
way
And
to
then she
Monday,
plays
right?
again fucking Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah,
And you have that
right.
for a whole season. You get to build off of that momentum, right?
That's so true.
These fighters have that fight, and then they kind of go away for 3-4 months.
You might not fight for a year. Conor hasn't fought for 2 fucking years.
At the highest level, yeah.
The highest level. And I mean,
And
he's everywhere.
what else happens in, those 3 months? How many other headlines, how many other stories are there? How many, you go by the wayside a little bit. And that's the only thing I can think of why the sport hasn't like exploded like that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Because it is tough to say. And also it's just like the brutality of the sport. Like, we're just savages. You know what I mean? We love like the blood and the guts and the fucking like balls that it takes to fucking get on the cut and like to get out there and just make the walk. But not everyone like really puts that much thought into it. And it's like gruesome. Like my mom loves watching the NBA and the NFL, but like she does not watch fights. Like she's like, what the fuck? Why are you watching that? Like, I don't understand. Why do you even do this? Like, that's like the type of shit that will happen whenever I try to watch fights next to her. So it's like, it's almost the appeal of the sport itself. Like, I feel like for the other games too, where it's not as brutal. It's not as, I mean, football is fucking brutal though. That's the weird thing. But I guess because they're not fucking, you can't see their face and bleeding and see a fucking eye puffed up where they can't even like look through. You know what I mean? It's not as like personal.
Yeah, there's sometimes for even us in fighting where it's like,
Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, that's fucked up.
You want a Jacek? What is that?
Oh my god, that was
Dude.
so fucked up.
Why do you look like Megamind?
Motherfucker turned into an alien, dog. Yeah, that was sad.
It's a crazy sport. Yeah, she is,
She
man.
got pretty after that.
Yeah.
It went down.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought she was fucked up for life after that. I was like, ooh, she's not pretty anymore. And then she got pretty again. And then she got fake titties.
She got awesome.
Now we love her.
We love her. We love Paige.
Yeah, oh, yeah, come on.
Shout out to Rachel Ostovich. I can't really say anything.
Oh.
She's dating Timur. She's
dating who?
Timur. He's a great comedian back home. He's blowing up in Hawaii.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They actually, congratulations. They just had their first baby.
Nice. Fuck you, dude. Fucking my girl.
We've been going almost 2 hours, brother. Where can everybody find you before the fight on June 21st?
Auggie MMA on Instagram. Thank you for having me on, bro. I got to give a quick shout out to all my sponsors. Everybody over at Reset. You guys keeping me fresh in the Supreme and the Jordans. Sending me out everything that I need. Love it. If you guys are in the St. Louis area, go see those guys. Total Roofing St. Louis. Seamless A's Gutters. If you have any construction needs, hit up Seamless A's Gutters or Total Roofing in St. Louis, Southern Illinois, Missouri area. They will get you taken care of. Both of their sayings are, we treat your house like your mother's house, or like our own mother's house. So you already know they're going to be, and they're doing quality work, making sure everything's taken care of. Just got an awesome new sponsor, Latitude Dispensary in Missouri, down in the Lake of the Ozarks. Some of the finest marijuana in the whole country. They grow it right in the heartland of Missouri. And so if you're in Missouri, you're in Arizona, you're in Illinois, make sure that you guys get over to Latitude Dispensary and get your Super Fire buds. Tell them Auggie sent you. And 2-car guys, if you need a ride and you're in St. Louis, you go down to Crystal City, go down there in the slumps and the fucking middle of nowhere, and you get yourself a car from John Sands. That's my guy. And I think I got them all.
Dana.
If I forgot anyone, I'm sorry, and I love you.
Dana, he's a walking billboard.
Let's go.
He's an easy star.
Come on, bro.
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. Mick, Sean, whisper in his goddamn ear. Let's go. Let's get this shit done. I'm going to knock Alex Morgan out. If I don't knock him out, it's going to be a nasty fight. He's going to be beat the fuck up. I'm going to be the #1 guy outside the UFC. You guys need someone like me. You guys need someone like me. This is the star power that we're talking about. This is the things that we're talking about. I'm willing to do whatever I got to do to get to that next level. So, yeah, thank you for having me on, bro.
I can't wait, brother. Got to do it again.
Yes, you already know.
Auggie, appreciate you so much. Still Friends Show, episode 84. See you guys next time.